Hello guys, welcome to Scion What If. So in this video, we will see what if Goku entered the Chainsaw Man world. If you enjoy these kinds of stories, don't forget to show us some love by hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. Your support means the world to us. Now, let's start the story. Chapter 1, Stranger in a Strange Land. The sky cracked open like broken glass. Goku slammed his fist into the creature's face, sending it careening backward. Purple energy spiraled around its body, a being calling itself Void Walker that had appeared during Goku's training session in the mountains. "You can't defeat me, Scion," the creature hissed, its elongated fingers tracing patterns in the air. "My power transcends dimensions." Goku grinned, dropping into his fighting stance. "I've heard that before." Still waiting to be impressed. He launched forward, orange GI flapping as he closed the distance. The creature's eyes widened in panic. As Goku's fist connected, reality itself seemed to warp around the impact. The Void Walker's body distorted, stretching like taffy as it screamed. "This universe or any other, doesn't matter to me," Goku said, charging a blue sphere of energy between his palms. "Came, fool," the creature shrieked, its body contorting unnaturally. "If I fall, you fall with me." Haim, the Void Walker's body began to fold in on itself, purple energy crackling outward. "You don't understand what you're doing," it wailed. "The barriers between worlds, HA." Blue energy erupted from Goku's hands just as the creature's body imploded. Instead of disintegrating, it collapsed into a swirling vortex that expanded rapidly. The Kamehameha disappeared into the void as if it had never existed. "What the?" Goku started, feeling an immense gravitational pull. The vortex expanded, space itself bending around it. "This isn't right." The pull intensified. Goku's boots scraped against dirt as he tried to fly away, but the usual rush of ki felt sluggish, unresponsive. His body lifted off the ground. "Bulma," he shouted into his communicator. "Something's wrong with," the vortex swallowed him whole. Falling. Tumbling through absolute nothingness. Then color, sound, sensation, all rushed back at once. Goku crashed through clouds, momentum carrying him down toward a sprawling cityscape below. Tokyo? No, similar, but different. The energy felt wrong. Everything felt wrong. Whoa. He tried to halt his descent, but his ki responded sluggishly. He managed only to slow himself before impact. Concrete cracked beneath his feet as he landed in the middle of a busy intersection. Cars screeched to a halt. Pedestrians screamed, scattering in all directions. Goku straightened up, rubbing the back of his head. "Sorry about that, folks. Didn't mean to drop in like this." No one laughed. If anything, the panic intensified. People pointed, shouted, ran faster. "Hey, I'm not gonna hurt anyone." Goku called out, confused. He wasn't that scary looking, was he? Something felt off about this place. The energy, ki, didn't flow the same way. It felt thicker, more viscous, harder to grasp. He tried to sense the life energy around him, but instead of the usual clear signals, he felt a muddy mess of something else. Fear. Raw emotion. Darkness. "Where am I?" he muttered, looking up at the sky. No trace of the vortex remained. A siren wailed in the distance. Goku turned, expecting police cars, but instead saw what looked like specialized government vehicles approaching. Black cars with tinted windows. Men in suits pouring out, armed with weapons that didn't look standard. "That doesn't look like the police," Goku murmured, brow furrowing. "Better not cause more trouble." He jumped, intending to bound over a building and find somewhere quiet to figure things out. But his leap carried him only half as high as it should have. He landed on a rooftop, frowning. "My power, it's not working right." The men in suits were shouting something about devil activity and securing the perimeter. People in strange uniforms had joined them, carrying weapons that made Goku's skin prickle with unease. Then he felt it, a surge of malevolent energy approaching fast. Different from the dark ki he'd encountered before. This felt hungry. Something massive crashed down 2 blocks away, sending cars flying. Screams filled the air as a grotesque shape rose from the impact crater, a hulking monstrosity with too many limbs and a face that seemed to shift constantly between different nightmarish forms. The hell is that? Goku muttered, instinctively dropping into his fighting stance. The suited men were yelling into radios now, "Devil attack." Requesting Chainsaw Man deployment. Devil? Chainsaw Man? This definitely wasn't his world. The monster roared, its voice like metal grinding against metal. Flesh. Blood. Feed me. It grabbed a fleeing civilian, lifting them toward what passed for its mouth. Goku didn't hesitate. He leaped from the rooftop, aiming a flying kick at the creature's arm. His foot connected with surprising force, severing the limb completely. The civilian fell, but Goku caught them mid-air and set them gently on the ground. Run, he instructed, turning back to face the howling monster. The creature regenerated its arm almost instantly, focusing multiple eyes on Goku. You smell different. Not human, not devil. I'm Goku, he replied with a grin, bouncing lightly on his feet. And you're about to be sorry you attacked these people. He lunged forward, delivering a rapid series of punches to the creature's midsection. Each hit landed with satisfying impact, sending shockwaves through its body. But something was off, his strikes weren't channeling ki properly. The monster staggered back but remained standing. Pain, it roared. You give me delicious pain. Goku frowned. This thing actually seemed to enjoy being hit. He needed to rethink his approach. Before he could formulate a plan, a new presence approached, fast, aggressive, focused. The sound of a chainsaw engine roared to life behind him. Get down, someone shouted. Goku turned to see a figure soaring through the air, a young man with what appeared to be chainsaws protruding from his head and arms. His face was partially obscured by a strange mask, but his eyes burned with intensity. Without thinking, Goku sidestepped, allowing the newcomer to sail past him toward the monster. Chainsaw Man slammed into the creature, his rotating blades tearing through its flesh with brutal efficiency. Black blood sprayed in all directions as the monster shrieked. That's some entrance, Goku commented, watching with interest. The chainsaw-headed fighter didn't respond, focused entirely on dismembering the creature. Each severed limb disintegrated into black particles rather than regenerating. Sensing an opening, Goku dashed forward, delivering an uppercut to what approximated the monster's chin. The blow sent it flying upward, directly into Chainsaw Man's path. The chainsaw blades ripped through the creature's core, causing it to explode in a shower of dark matter. Chainsaw Man landed in a crouch, engine still roaring, and immediately turned his attention to Goku. You're next, he growled, voice muffled behind his mask. Goku held up his hands. Whoa, hold on. I'm not one of those things. Don't care what you are, Chainsaw Man replied, revving his engines louder. You ain't human. That's enough for me. He charged, chainsaws whirring with deadly intent. Goku dodged the first swing, feeling the air displacement as the blades missed his face by inches. I don't want to fight you. Goku protested, weaving away from another attack. Should have thought of that before you crashed into Tokyo. The young man was fast, not as fast as Goku should be, but with his powers acting strangely, the gap wasn't as wide as it should have been. Chainsaw Man attacked with wild abandon, seemingly unconcerned about damaging himself in the process. His fighting style was raw, instinctual, fueled by something primal. Goku blocked a chainsaw arm with his forearm, wincing as the blade scraped against his skin. It hurt more than it should have. He countered with a palm strike to Chainsaw Man's chest, careful to moderate his strength. The blow sent the devil hunter flying backward, crashing through a storefront window. Goku winced. Maybe he hadn't moderated enough. Sorry about that, he called out. Still figuring out my strength here. Chainsaw Man burst back through the broken window, somehow looking even more enraged. I'll show you strength. He revved his engines to a fever pitch and launched himself forward like a missile. Goku prepared to dodge, but something changed. The chainsaws on the fighter's arms elongated, giving him unexpected reach. The blade sliced across Goku's chest, tearing his GI and drawing blood. Ow! Goku exclaimed, genuinely surprised. That actually hurt. He backed away, reassessing. This world was different. His opponent was different. Standard tactics wouldn't work. Chainsaw Man pressed his advantage, unleashing a barrage of attacks that forced Goku into defensive maneuvers. The Saiyan warrior blocked and dodged, looking for patterns in the chaos. Hold still so I can cut you in half. Chainsaw Man growled. Not the friendliest welcome I've ever gotten, Goku replied, ducking under a horizontal swing. He spotted an opening and took it, delivering a sweeping kick that knocked Chainsaw Man's legs out from under him. As the devil hunter fell, Goku followed up with an open palm strike to his sternum, pinning him to the ground. Listen, Goku said firmly. I'm not your enemy. I'm just trying to figure out where I am. Chainsaw Man struggled against the hold, his chainsaws revving ineffectually. Get off me. Not until you stop trying to cut me to pieces. Enough. The single word, spoken with quiet authority, froze both combatants. Goku looked up to see a woman approaching. Red hair, yellow eyes, dressed in a professional suit. She walked with absolute confidence, as if the destruction around her was of no consequence. Something about her made Goku's instincts flare in warning. Power radiated from her, not like ki, but something equally dangerous. Makima. Chainsaw Man's voice changed, becoming almost eager. The chainsaws retracted into his arms and head, revealing a young man with blonde hair and bright eyes. Denji, the woman, Makima, acknowledged with a slight nod. Her gaze fixed on Goku. You can release him now. He won't attack again. Goku hesitated, then stepped back, allowing the young man to scramble to his feet. I had him on the ropes, Denji muttered, dusting himself off. Makima ignored this, studying Goku with unsettling intensity. You're not a devil. It wasn't a question. No, I'm a Saiyan, Goku replied honestly. Name's Goku. I got pulled into some kind of dimensional portal during a fight. Ended up here. A Saiyan, Makima repeated, rolling the word around as if tasting it. From another dimension. Interesting. More suited individuals surrounded them now, weapons trained on Goku. He helped against that tomato devil, one of them reported to Makima. Witnesses say he saved civilians before Chainsaw Man arrived. Makima's expression didn't change. Put your weapons down. He's coming with us. I am. Goku asked. Unless you'd prefer to be hunted by every devil hunter in Tokyo, she replied coolly. You're an anomaly. Something new. In this world, that makes you dangerous. Goku frowned. I'm not looking for trouble. Trouble found you anyway. Makima turned away. Public safety will want to debrief you. And I have questions. Denji glared at Goku. Don't trust her friendly act. If Makima's interested in you, you're either useful or dead. Denji, Makima called, not looking back. Bring him. The blonde man immediately perked up. Yes, Makima. He shot Goku a final warning look before following her. Goku sighed, looking up at the unfamiliar sky. No sign of a way back. His energy still felt wrong. And now he was being escorted by people who clearly saw him as a potential threat. Well, he muttered to himself, at least it's not boring. He followed the strange Pair, aware of the armed agents flanking him on all sides. The public safety building looked ordinary enough from the outside, just another government office in the Tokyo skyline. Inside was a different story. Goku walked past rooms with reinforced doors, strange symbols etched into the frames. He caught glimpses of people with unusual features, a woman with flames for hair, a man whose shadow moved independently of his body. They led him to an interrogation room. No windows, one door, a table with chairs on opposite sides. Classic setup. Sit, Makima instructed, taking the chair across from him. Denji hovered near the door, apparently serving as guard. Goku sat, crossing his arms. Nice place you got here. Very, secure. Makima didn't acknowledge the small talk. Tell me exactly what happened before you arrived. Goku described the fight with the Void Walker, the dimensional rift, and his crash landing in Tokyo. He kept it straightforward, seeing no reason to lie. And in your world, you possess greater powers than what you demonstrated today, she asked, expression unchanged. Yeah. Something feels off here. My ki, my energy, doesn't work the same way. Ki, she repeated. Interesting. We harness power through contracts with devils. Devils? Like that thing I fought? That was merely a lesser devil. They're manifestations of human fears. The more feared, the more powerful. Makima's eyes seemed to glow faintly. The tomato devil manifests from people's fear of tomatoes. Goku blinked. People are afraid of tomatoes? Denji snorted from his position by the door. Some people are afraid of everything. And what are you? Goku asked, looking at the young man. Those chainsaws. I'm Chainsaw Man, Denji replied proudly. Got the heart of the chainsaw devil in my chest. Makes me special. You're a human with devil powers. Something like that, Makima interjected. Denji is a hybrid. Unique, until now. She leaned forward slightly. You're neither human nor devil. You exist outside our system. Goku rubbed the back of his head. Yeah, I get that a lot. Look, I just need to figure out how to get back to my dimension. That may prove difficult. Makima slid a tablet across the table. It showed footage from security cameras, the sky where Goku had appeared. A brief flash, then nothing. Whatever doorway you came through closed immediately. Goku's heart sank. So I'm stuck here. For now. Which makes you our problem. She stood up. You'll remain in our custody while we determine what to do with you. Hey, I'm not a prisoner. Goku protested. Makima's smile didn't reach her eyes. Consider it protective custody. This world isn't kind to anomalies. Devils will be drawn to your unusual energy. Humans will fear you. Other organizations will want to dissect you. She's not wrong, Denji added. This place sucks for anyone different. Goku frowned. He could probably break out if he needed to, even with his powers compromised. But where would he go? This wasn't his world. He didn't know the rules. Fine, he conceded. But I want to help while I'm here. If these devils attack innocent people, I can fight them. Makima studied him for a moment. Perhaps an arrangement could be made. We'll discuss it tomorrow. For now, you need rest. She nodded to someone outside the door, and a nervous-looking man in glasses entered. This is Yoshida. He'll show you to temporary quarters. Yoshida adjusted his glasses. Follow me, please. Goku stood, glancing between Makima and Denji. Thanks for not cutting me in half, I guess. Denji grinned, an expression that transformed his face from menacing to almost boyish. Day's not over yet. As Goku followed Yoshida out, he heard Makima speak quietly to Denji. What did it feel like, fighting him? Different, Denji replied. He hits like a truck but holds back. Like he's scared of breaking me. Interesting, Makima murmured. Very interesting. Yoshida led Goku through a maze of corridors to a small dormitory room. It's not much, he apologized. But it's secure. Secure. For me, or secure from me? Goku asked wryly. Yoshida didn't answer, which was answer enough. Someone will bring you food soon. Please don't, try anything. The door closed behind him with an ominous click. Goku sighed, sitting on the edge of the bed. He closed his eyes, trying to sense the energy of this world. It felt wrong, corrupted somehow. Fear and pain seemed woven into the fabric of reality itself. What kind of place is this? He muttered. He tried to gather his ki, forming a small ball of energy between his palms. It flickered weakly, unstable. In this world, his greatest powers were diminished. Great, he sighed. Stuck in a world of monsters with half my strength. A knock at the door interrupted his thoughts. It opened to reveal a young woman with strange pink hair and prominent horns. She carried a tray laden with food. Food delivery, she announced at unnecessary volume. I am power. I bring sustenance. Goku blinked at the sudden intrusion. Thanks. Power marched in and slammed the tray down on a small table. You are the strange man from another world. Not devil, not human. Very interesting. Do you always shout? Goku asked, eyeing the food hungrily. Power speaks as power wishes, she declared, then dropped her voice to a stage whisper. But Aki says I must use indoor voice or he'll take away TV privileges. Goku couldn't help but smile. There was something endearing about her strange demeanor. Well, thanks for the food, Power. She watched with undisguised fascination as he began eating. Goku paused mid-bite. Is something wrong? You eat like Denji, she observed. But more. Much more. Goku laughed. Saiyans have big appetites. What is Saiyan? She asked, plopping down on the floor across from him. It's what I am. We're warriors from a planet called Vegeta. A spaceman? Power's eyes widened comically. Can you shoot lasers from your eyes? Not from my eyes, no. Disappointing, she huffed. Aki says you fell from the sky and fought Denji to a standstill. This makes Power curious. Goku continued eating as he answered her questions. Power had a childlike directness that he found refreshing after Makima's unsettling intensity. He learned that Power was actually a fiend, a devil that had possessed a human corpse, specifically the blood devil. So devils, fiends, hybrids, this world is complicated, Goku observed. Yes. Very complicated. Power doesn't understand it either. She grinned, showing slightly pointed teeth. I just know I'm the strongest and most beautiful. Goku laughed. You remind me of my friend Vegeta. He's always going on about being the strongest too. This Vegeta sounds wise, Power nodded sagely. Their conversation was interrupted when the building's emergency sirens began blaring. Power jumped to her feet. Alert! Something bad happens. The door burst open, revealing a harried-looking Yoshida. We have a situation. A new devil just manifested downtown, something we've never seen before. What kind? Power asked, suddenly serious. Yoshida's expression was grim. Witnesses are calling it the alien devil. Goku stood up. Alien? It appeared shortly after you arrived, Yoshida explained. And it's heading straight for this building. They rushed through the corridors, sirens wailing throughout the facility. Devil hunters ran in all directions, grabbing weapons and protective gear. What does it look like? Goku asked as they hurried toward the command center. Reports say it keeps changing shape, Yoshida replied. Witnesses describe it as every sci-fi monster combined into one. The command center was a flurry of activity. Screens displayed various parts of the city, focusing on a path of destruction leading toward their location. The creature moved like something from a nightmare, shifting between forms, sometimes insectoid, sometimes reptilian, always wrong. Makima stood calmly in the center of the chaos, giving orders. Denji was already there, bouncing on his heels, eager for battle. "It's responding to him," Makima said when she spotted Goku, not bothering with preamble. The alien devil manifested from humanity's collective fear of extraterrestrial threats. "Your arrival triggered it." Goku frowned. "So this is my fault." "Devils don't need permission to exist," a somber-faced man with a sword interjected. "I'm Aki Hayakawa. You're not responsible for what fear creates." Goku nodded gratefully. "Still, I should help stop it." "That's the plan," Makima confirmed. "We need to see what you're capable of in a real battle scenario." "You're using this as a test?" Aki asked, disapproval evident. Makima's expression didn't change. "Everything is data, Aki. You know this." On the screens, the alien devil grew larger with each block it destroyed. People fled screaming from its path as it absorbed elements from the environment, metal, concrete, flesh, incorporating them into its ever-changing form. "It's getting stronger," Yoshida noted. "Feeding off the panic." Denji cracked his knuckles. "So let's kill it before it gets too big." Makima nodded. "Denji, Power, Aki, you'll engage with our guest here. Contain the damage as much as possible. Power will destroy the space monster." Power declared, summoning a blood spear from nowhere. Goku raised an eyebrow. "Neat trick. You ain't seen nothing yet, spaceman." They moved out, Goku following the devil hunters to the roof where a helicopter waited. As they soared over the city, the destruction below became more apparent. The alien devil left a swath of devastation in its wake, buildings partially collapsed, cars crushed. "How do you usually fight these things?" Goku asked over the roar of the rotors. "Hit them until they stop moving." Denji shouted back. "Then hit them some more." Aki sighed. "Devils have regenerative abilities. You have to completely destroy them or they come back stronger. The big ones have cores," Power added. "Smash the core, smash the devil." The helicopter hovered over a relatively clear area about 2 blocks from where the creature rampaged. They could see it clearly now, a monstrosity at least 20 feet tall, with too many limbs and constantly shifting features. Parts of it resembled classic alien depictions from films: gray skin, large black eyes, elongated limbs. Other sections were pure nightmare, writhing tentacles, dripping acid, chitinous armor. "That's disgusting," Denji commented as they rappelled down to the street. "Focus, Chainsaw Boy." Power chided, brandishing her blood spear. The alien devil sensed their arrival, turning multiple heads in their direction. It spoke, a cacophony of voices layered atop each other. "Visitor. From beyond. Give it to us." Goku stepped forward. "I think it means me." "Your energy," Aki clarified. "It wants whatever power allowed you to cross dimensions." "Well, it can't have it," Goku replied, dropping into his fighting stance. "Let's do this." Denji pulled his starter cord, transforming into Chainsaw Man with a roar of engines. Power's horns elongated, blood swirling around her form. Aki drew his sword, whispering something that made the blade glow faintly. The alien devil charged, moving with surprising speed for its size. Its limbs elongated as it approached, reaching for Goku specifically. "Split up." Aki ordered. "Denji, left flank. Power, right. I'll support from range." Goku didn't wait for instructions. He launched forward, meeting the creature head-on. His fist connected with what approximated its center mass, sending shockwaves through its body. The impact should have torn through it. Instead, the creature absorbed the blow, its form rippling like liquid. It's adapting. Goku called out, dodging a whip-like tentacle. Chainsaw Man attacked from the side, his blades tearing through the creature's flesh. Unlike the earlier devil, this one didn't disintegrate immediately. Instead, it reformed around the chainsaws, attempting to engulf them. What the hell? Denji shouted as his arms became stuck. Get off me! Power launched her blood spear with incredible force, piercing multiple sections of the devil. Take that, space abomination! The spear exploded into a shower of blood spikes inside the creature, temporarily disrupting its cohesion. Denji wrenched himself free, backing away. Its regeneration is too fast, Aki observed, his sword slicing through extended limbs that immediately grew back. We need to find the core. Goku circled the creature, analyzing its movements. It continued to reach for him specifically, ignoring opportunities to attack the others when they presented themselves. It really wants me, he realized. Maybe we can use that. He backed away, drawing the devil's attention. Hey, ugly! You want me? Come and get me! The creature surged forward, multiple limbs reaching hungrily. Now! Goku shouted. Chainsaw Man leaped from behind, chainsaws aimed at the creature's back where it was momentarily stretched thin. The blades tore through, revealing a pulsating orb deep within its mass, glowing with sickly green light. There! Aki pointed. The core. The devil roared in pain and anger, retracting to protect its vulnerable center. It grew spikes along its exterior, making approach difficult. We need to hit it all at once, Goku said. Overwhelm its defenses. Power nodded enthusiastically. Coordinated attack. Power approves. On my mark, Aki instructed, raising his sword. Ghostly apparitions, foxes made of smoke, circled the blade. 3, 2, 1. Now. They attacked simultaneously, Aki's fox spirits tearing through the devil's outer defenses, Power's blood spears pinning it in place, Chainsaw Man carving a path toward the core. Goku focused, drawing what ki he could muster into his fist. It wasn't much by his standards, but it would have to do. As the others created their opening, Goku dashed forward with superhuman speed, arm cocked back. His fist glowed with concentrated energy as he drove it directly into the exposed core. Hiya! The impact shattered the core like glass. Energy exploded outward, throwing all of them back. The alien devil's form collapsed, dissolving into particles that dissipated into the air with an unearthly shriek. Silence fell over the devastated street. Goku pushed himself to his feet, checking on the others. Everyone okay? Denji had reverted to human form, looking exhausted but grinning wildly. That was awesome. Did you see how I cut through that thing? Power dusted herself off dramatically. Power was most impressive. The spaceman did adequately as support. Aki sheathed his sword, expression guarded. That was efficient. Helicopters circled overhead, public safety reinforcements arriving late to the party. Makima would be watching, analyzing every move he'd made. Goku looked at his hand, still tingling from the energy he'd channeled. It hadn't been a proper ki attack, more like his life energy had directly opposed the devil's existence. Interesting. Your fighting style, Aki observed quietly. It's different from anything I've seen. Where I come from, we use ki, life energy, Goku explained. Here it works differently, but the principles are the same. Focus your power, direct it precisely. You held back, Aki noted. Against both Denji and this devil. Goku shrugged. I'm still figuring out the rules here. Don't want to break your world by accident. Aki's expression softened slightly. Wise approach. Public safety agents approached, securing the area. Medical teams checked civilians for injuries. The aftermath of devil attacks seemed like a well-rehearsed procedure. Denji sidled up to Goku. So, spaceman. You really from another dimension? Yep. Place called Earth, but not this Earth. Ha. Denji kicked at debris. Thoughtfully. Got food there? Goku laughed. Yeah, lots of it. Then it can't be all bad, Denji decided. You fight pretty good for someone with weird hair. Says the guy with chainsaws in his head. Denji grinned. Fair point. A black car pulled up, and Makima emerged, surveying the destruction with clinical detachment. Her gaze fixed on Goku. Impressive teamwork, she commented, approaching their group. You adapt quickly. Goku crossed his arms. The alien devil, it was drawn to me specifically. Yes. Your energy signature is distinctive. Makima glanced around at the devastation. This presents both problems and opportunities. What do you mean? Devils are manifestations of fear, she explained. Your presence, something from beyond our reality, has created a new fear. But it also means you can help us combat the threats that emerge. So I'm both the problem and the solution. Goku frowned. Convenient. Makima's smile didn't reach her eyes. Life rarely offers simple answers, Goku. But I believe we can help each other. How so? You need resources to find your way home. We need your unique abilities to fight devils. She extended her hand. Work with us officially. As a special contractor. Goku hesitated, looking at the others. Denji gave a noncommittal shrug. Power nodded enthusiastically. Aki's expression remained carefully neutral. I don't have many options, do I? Goku observed. You always have options, Makima replied smoothly. This one simply offers mutual benefits. Goku took her hand. Fine. But I have conditions. No experiments, no confinement. I help you fight these devils, and you help me find a way home. Agreed. Makima's grip was surprisingly strong. Welcome to public safety, Goku. As they shook hands, Goku couldn't shake the feeling that he'd just made a deal with someone as dangerous as any devil. But in this strange world of fear and monsters, allies, even questionable ones, were better than none. The dimensional rift that brought him here was closed. He was stranded, at least temporarily, in a world where his greatest powers were diminished and the rules were different. But Goku had never backed down from a challenge. So, he asked, looking at his new teammates. When's dinner? Chapter 2, Devil's Bargain. Goku woke to the sound of someone pounding on his door. Spaceman. Wake up. Breakfast competition. He grinned, recognizing Power's unmistakable volume. A week had passed since the alien devil incident, and he'd settled into something resembling a routine at the public safety building. Power's self-proclaimed breakfast competitions had become a daily ritual. Coming, he called, rolling out of bed. His accommodations had improved significantly, a proper apartment rather than the initial holding cell. Still within the public safety complex, but with actual windows and furniture. Not that Goku cared much about creature comforts, but the gesture represented a shift in his status from potential threat to reluctant ally. He pulled on his GI, freshly repaired by someone in the division. The familiar orange fabric felt like home in this strange world. Power waited impatiently in the hallway, pink hair disheveled. Hurry up. I've been practicing my eating techniques. That's not really how eating works, Goku laughed, following her toward the cafeteria. Silence. Power has developed superior consumption methods. The cafeteria buzzed with devil hunters grabbing breakfast before assignments. Many still gave Goku a wide berth, eyeing him with suspicion or curiosity. Others had grown accustomed to his presence, offering nods of acknowledgement. Denji already sat at their usual table, half asleep over a tray piled high with food. Morning, Goku greeted, sitting across from him. Denji grunted something unintelligible, shoveling eggs into his mouth. Power slammed her tray down. Prepare to witness my victory. She's extra loud this morning, Denji muttered. I heard that. Goku surveyed the mountain of food before them. So what's the challenge today? Speed. Power. Declared. First to finish their tray wins ultimate breakfast glory. Denji perked up slightly. What do we get if we win? The loser must admit the winner's superiority publicly, Power explained, as if this were the most obvious prize imaginable. Works for me, Goku said, readying his chopsticks. Count us down. 3. 2. 1. Consume. They attacked their food with abandon. Despite his sluggish start, Denji proved a formidable competitor, inhaling rice and fish at impressive speed. Power's technique involved shoving alarming amounts into her mouth simultaneously. But Goku, even with his powers limited in this world, remained in a league of his own when it came to eating. Done, he announced, setting down his empty bowl as the other two continued struggling through their portions. Power stared in disbelief. Impossible. Power demands inspection for hidden food pockets. Goku laughed, opening his mouth to prove he'd swallowed everything. Saiyans have fast metabolisms. We burn through calories quickly. Bullshit, Denji mumbled through a mouthful of rice. Nobody eats that fast. You have shamed Power once again, the blood fiend lamented dramatically, though she didn't seem genuinely upset. If anything, she appeared fascinated by Goku's appetite. Aki approached their table, immaculately dressed as always, looking vaguely disapproving of their antics. When you're finished with your competition. Kishibe wants to see Goku for training. Training? Goku perked up. Assessment, more accurately, Aki clarified. He wants to understand how your abilities translate to devil hunting. Denji snorted. Good luck. Old man Kishibe's gonna kick your ass. He's not wrong, Aki admitted. Kishibe is thorough. Great. Goku said enthusiastically, standing up. Where do I find him? Training Hall B, basement level. Don't keep him waiting. Aki paused, then added, and don't hold back. He'll know. Training Hall B turned out to be a massive concrete room reinforced with what Goku now recognized as anti-devil warding symbols. The space bore scars from countless previous sessions, cracked floors, dented walls, burn marks on the ceiling. A grizzled man waited in the center, nursing a flask. He didn't look up as Goku entered. You're the dimensional anomaly, he stated flatly. Kishibe. Head of training for Special Division. Nice to meet you. I'm Goku. I know. Kishibe finally looked up, his eyes sharp despite his seemingly relaxed demeanor. Makima says you've got potential. I'm not convinced. Goku smiled, unfazed by the man's gruffness. What kind of training did you have in mind? Kishibe pocketed his flask. First, I need to understand what you can do. Your battle with the alien devil showed interesting techniques, but you were holding back. I'm still figuring out how my powers work here, Goku explained. Ki doesn't flow the same way in this dimension. Ki. Life energy. Kishibe circled Goku slowly, assessing him. Similar concept to what devils manipulate, but without contracts. You know about Ki? I know about many things. Kishibe stopped circling. Show me. Attack me with your full strength. Goku hesitated. I don't want to hurt you. Kishibe moved so fast that Goku barely had time to block. A knife flashed toward his throat, stopped only by Goku's forearm. Blood welled from the shallow cut. Rule 1, Kishibe said calmly. Never underestimate your opponent. He twisted away before Goku could grab him, moving with surprising agility for his age. Impressive speed, Goku acknowledged, dropping into his fighting stance. But I'm still worried about going all out. Don't be, Kishibe replied, readying his knives again. I've survived worse than you. This time, Goku didn't hold back, much. He launched forward with blinding speed, aiming a punch that would shatter concrete. Somehow, Kishibe wasn't where the punch landed. He'd anticipated the move, sidestepping at the last possible moment. Too straightforward, Kishibe commented, slashing at Goku's exposed side. Goku twisted midair, avoiding the blade and countering with a sweeping kick. Kishibe jumped over it, throwing a knife that grazed Goku's cheek. They continued like this for several minutes, Goku attacking with increasingly complex combinations, Kishibe evading with preternatural awareness. It reminded Goku of sparring with Master Roshi in his early days, before power levels had escalated to world-shattering heights. Your technique is solid, Kishibe noted as they separated, both breathing hard. But you rely too heavily on overwhelming force. It usually works, Goku replied with a grin. Against devils, it won't. Kishibe sheathed his knives. Devils don't fight fair. They don't follow martial arts rules. They exploit weaknesses, use psychological warfare, sacrifice parts of themselves for advantage. Goku wiped blood from his cheek. I've fought plenty of enemies who fight dirty. Not like devils. Kishibe approached a control panel on the wall. Let me show you. He pressed several buttons. Steel shutters slid away from a reinforced glass window, revealing a chamber containing what looked like a teenage girl, except her skin had a greenish tint and her eyes glowed yellow. This is a captured flower devil, Kishibe explained. Relatively weak. Manifests from people's fear of certain toxic plants. The devil hissed at them, revealing needle-like teeth. I'm going to release her into this room, Kishibe continued. Your job is to subdue her without killing her. Think of it as a controlled exercise. Goku frowned. She looks pretty harmless. Rule 2, appearances deceive. Kishibe pressed another button. Begin. The door to the containment chamber slid open. The flower devil remained motionless for a moment, then darted into the training hall with surprising speed. She circled the perimeter, sizing up her opponents. What are her abilities? Goku asked quietly. Figure it out, Kishibe replied, backing away. I'm here to observe, not help. The devil suddenly changed direction, charging straight at Goku. He prepared to intercept her, then hesitated as her appearance shifted. For a split second, she looked like Gohan, his son, crying out in pain. That moment of hesitation cost him. The devil slashed across his chest with razor-sharp fingernails, drawing blood before dancing away. What the? Goku touched the wound, confused. Illusions, Kishibe noted clinically. The flower devil releases pollen that causes hallucinations. Makes you see loved ones in danger. That's fighting dirty, Goku muttered, focusing on the devil's true form. That's fighting like a devil, Kishibe corrected. Now stop her. Goku took a deep breath, centering himself. If the devil used hallucinations, he needed to rely on senses beyond sight. He closed his eyes, feeling the movement of air, listening for footsteps. The devil charged again. This time, even with his eyes closed, Goku sensed a moment of disorientation, the pollen affecting his other senses. But he'd fought blind before. He tracked the devil's movement by the subtle displacement of air and struck with precision. His open palm connected with her sternum, sending her flying backward without causing serious damage. The devil hissed in frustration, circling again. Interesting approach, Kishibe commented. But she's adapting. Watch. The flower devil's skin began to sprout thorny protrusions. The air filled with thicker pollen, creating a hazy cloud throughout the room. She's making it harder to sense her, Goku realized, feeling his perception dulling. Devils evolve during battle, Kishibe explained. Especially when cornered. Goku needed a new strategy. He gathered what ki he could muster, still frustratingly limited in this world, and released it in a quick burst around his body. The energy wave disrupted the pollen cloud, clearing his immediate vicinity. The devil screeched in surprise, momentarily visible through the haze. Goku didn't hesitate. He dashed forward, moving faster than she could react, and locked her in a submission hold, careful to avoid the thorns while restricting her movement. "Got her," he announced. "Now what?" Kishibe approached, producing what looked like specialized handcuffs. "Not bad. You adapted quickly." He secured the devil, who continued struggling unsuccessfully. Most new recruits end up hallucinating their worst nightmares for hours after exposure to her pollen. "I've dealt with mind tricks before," Goku explained as Kishibe led the subdued devil back to her containment chamber. "An opponent who gets in your head is trying to compensate for physical weakness." Kishibe raised an eyebrow. "Perceptive." He secured the chamber and turned back to Goku. "You have potential. But you need to understand how devils operate in this world." "That's why I'm here," Goku replied earnestly. Kishibe leaned against the wall, extracting his flask again. Devils are fear made manifest. The more people fear something, the stronger its devil becomes. But it's more complex than that. He took a swig before continuing. Devils can form contracts with humans. The human gains some of the devil's power in exchange for something the devil values: blood, body parts, lifespan. "That sounds unethical," Goku frowned. "Welcome to our world," Kishibe replied drily. "Devil hunters like us use contracts to fight fire with fire. It's a necessary compromise." "What about Denji? And power? They're different, right?" "Denji is a hybrid, human merged with a devil heart. Power is a fiend, a devil possessing a human corpse. Both rare cases." Kishibe studied Goku thoughtfully. "You, however, don't fit any category we have. Your energy isn't devil-based, but it interacts with our world in similar ways. Is that why I can hurt devils without contracts?" "Precisely. Whatever this ki is, it functions as a natural counter to devil energy." Kishibe put away his flask. "Which makes you valuable. And dangerous." "I'm not a threat," Goku insisted. "Not intentionally, perhaps. But your mere presence disrupts the balance." Kishibe gestured toward the ceiling. "The alien devil was just the beginning. Your energy is creating ripples throughout our reality. More devils will respond." Goku sobered at this information. "So I'm making things worse just by being here." "Potentially. Or you could be the advantage we need against greater threats." Kishibe pushed off the wall. "That's for Makima to decide. I just make sure you don't get yourself killed in the meantime." "Thanks. I think. Don't thank me yet. We've barely started." Kishibe walked toward the exit. "Meet me here tomorrow, same time. Bring Denji. I want to see how you two function as a unit." As the door closed behind Kishibe, Goku sat heavily on the floor, considering the implications. His presence was attracting devils. The longer he stayed, the more danger he might bring to this already troubled world. But without a clear way home, what choice did he have? "So the old man put you through the ringer, huh?" Denji asked later that day, as they sat on the roof of the public safety building. The sunset painted Tokyo's skyline in oranges and reds. "It was educational," Goku replied, watching clouds drift past. "Your world has different rules than mine." Denji laughed. "Rules? There's only one rule here: survive. Everything else is details. What about protecting people? Isn't that why you fight devils?" Denji's expression shifted, growing more complex. "Sure, I guess. But mostly I just want to live a normal life. Food, a place to sleep, maybe touch some boobs eventually." He grinned self-consciously. "Simple dreams, man." Goku smiled. There was something refreshingly straightforward about Denji despite his unusual circumstances. In my world, I've always fought to protect Earth. My family, my friends. But the battles kept getting bigger. Universal threats, gods of destruction. Sounds exhausting, Denji commented. Sometimes, Goku admitted. But it's who I am. A fighter. Same here, Denji replied, revving the starter cord in his chest absently. The sound had become familiar to Goku, Denji's nervous habit when thinking. Though I didn't exactly choose it. They sat in comfortable silence for a while, watching the city lights flicker on as darkness fell. Hey, Denji said suddenly. What's your world like? Besides all the fighting. Goku considered the question. Peaceful, mostly. People live normal lives. My wife Chi-Chi keeps our home in the mountains. My sons are growing up strong. Friends gather for celebrations. Sounds nice, Denji said quietly. You must miss them. Yeah, Goku agreed, feeling a pang of homesickness. I do. We'll find you a way back, Denji declared with surprising conviction. Mikima's smart. If anyone can figure out dimensional travel, it's her. Goku glanced at him. You really trust her, don't you? Something flashed across Denji's face, devotion, certainly, but also something more complex. Mikima saved me. Gave me purpose. Without her, I'd probably be dead in a ditch somewhere. That doesn't answer my question. Denji shrugged. Trust doesn't matter. She's Mikima. That's enough. Before Goku could probe further, the roof access door opened. Aki stepped out, his expression as composed as ever. Mikima wants to see you, he said, looking at Goku. Her office. Now. Denji immediately perked up. I'll come too. Just Goku, Aki clarified, causing Denji's face to fall. Director's orders. Goku stood, brushing off his GI. Any idea what this is about? She doesn't share her reasons with me, Aki replied stiffly. But it's unusual for her to request private meetings. Denji flopped back onto the roof dramatically. Whatever. Tell her I said hi. Goku followed Aki back into the building, navigating the labyrinthine corridors to Mikima's office. He'd seen her several times during the past week, but always in group settings or formal briefings. Never one-on-one. Here, Aki said, stopping before an unassuming door. She's expecting you. As Aki turned to leave, Goku caught his arm. Hey. What's your read on Mikima? Everyone seems to view her differently. Aki's expression remained carefully neutral. She's our superior. That's all that matters. That's not an answer either, Goku observed. The corner of Aki's mouth twitched, almost a smile. Perhaps that is the answer. Mikima is, exactly what each person needs her to be. He pulled his arm free. Good luck. Goku knocked on the door, unsettled by the cryptic response. Enter, came Mikima's smooth voice. Her office was surprisingly austere, minimal decoration, functional furniture, large windows overlooking the city. Mikima sat behind a desk, reviewing documents. She looked up as Goku entered, those unnerving yellow eyes studying him with clinical interest. Kishibe speaks highly of your performance, she said without preamble. He rarely compliments anyone. He's a good teacher, Goku replied, remaining standing since she hadn't invited him to sit. Reminds me of my old martial arts master. Martial arts. Mikima set aside her papers. Your world has structured combat systems, then. Interesting. Most worlds do, in some form. Most worlds. Her attention sharpened. You've visited other dimensions before. Goku realized he'd revealed more than intended. A few. Usually briefly, and rarely by choice. Please, sit. Makima gestured to the chair across from her desk. I find your background fascinating. Goku sat, keeping his guard up. Something about Makima reminded him of Frisia, the calculating intelligence behind a pleasant facade. You mentioned a wife and sons, she continued. Family is important to you. How did you? Goku started, then realized. You've been having me watched. Of course. She didn't bother denying it. You represent an unknown variable. Surveillance is standard procedure. Fair enough, Goku conceded. Yes, my family is important to me. It's why I need to find a way home. I understand completely. Makima leaned forward slightly. Tell me about these Dragon Balls you mentioned to Denji. Goku tensed. He definitely hadn't told Denji about the Dragon Balls. I don't recall that conversation. No. Makima smiled. Perhaps I misheard. You've had many conversations this week. She was fishing for information, Goku realized. Testing to see if he'd reveal something in his confusion. What do you really want to know, Makima? He asked directly. Her smile widened fractionally. Direct. I appreciate that. She stood, moving to the window. I want to know if your world has methods of resurrection. Ways to restore what was lost. Why? Academic curiosity. She turned back to face him. In our world, death is rarely permanent for devils. They die here, they reincarnate in hell. Die in hell, they return here. An endless cycle. Humans, however, die permanently. It creates an imbalance. Goku considered his response carefully. Where I'm from, death has consequences. Even when there are exceptions, they come with prices. Everything has a price, Makima agreed. I'm merely wondering what price your world demands for its miracles. Why is resurrection so important to you? Makima's expression remained unchanged. Did I say it was important to me specifically? I'm researching possibilities for public safety. Knowledge is power, after all. She was deflecting, but Goku decided not to push. Something told him revealing the Dragon Ball's true nature to Makima would be dangerous. My world's methods wouldn't work here, he said instead. Different universal laws. Pity. Makima returned to her desk. Nevertheless, we're making progress on understanding the dimensional rift that brought you here. Our research division has detected residual energy signatures consistent with your arrival point. You can send me back. Goku asked, hope rising. Not yet. But we're closer to understanding the mechanics. She slid a folder across the desk. These are readings from the past week. Notice the pattern. Goku opened the folder, examining graphs and figures he didn't fully understand. But the pattern was clear enough, energy spikes corresponding to devil attacks. The incidents are increasing, he noted. More devils appearing near where I arrived. Precisely. Makima tapped the folder. Your presence is creating a dimensional instability. Each devil attack temporarily weakens the barriers between worlds. So fighting devils might actually help me get home? It's possible. Makima took back the folder. Which brings me to my proposal. I want you to join Denji's team officially. Hunt devils. Help us maintain order while we research your situation. I've already been helping, Goku pointed out. In an ad hoc capacity, yes. I'm offering formalization, resources, information access, proper accommodations outside this facility. What's the catch? Makima's smile remained fixed. No catch. Mutual benefit. You help us control the devil situation your presence has exacerbated. We help you find your way home. Goku studied her, trying to read past that perfect mask. There's something you're not telling me. There are many things I'm not telling you, she replied smoothly. Just as there are many things you're not telling me. Trust is earned, Goku. He couldn't argue with that logic. All right. I'm in. Excellent. Makima produced a document. Your official designation will be Special Contractor, Extra Planner. Sign here. Goku took the pen she offered, hesitating only briefly before signing. Whatever game Makima was playing, staying close to the action seemed wiser than being sidelined. Welcome to public safety, Makima said, taking back the signed paper. Aki will brief you on tomorrow's operation. We've detected Gun Devil fragments becoming active in Yokohama. Gun Devil? Goku asked, recalling mentions of this particular threat. The most dangerous devil we've faced, Makima explained. It manifests from humanity's fear of firearms. We defeated it once, but pieces remain active. Lately, they've shown increased aggression, coinciding with your arrival. Another devil drawn to me? It appears so. Makima stood, signaling the end of their meeting. Get some rest. Tomorrow will be challenging. As Goku turned to leave, Makima spoke again. One last question, if you don't mind. He paused at the door. Yes. In your world, these gods of destruction you mentioned. What happens when they die? Goku met her gaze steadily. They don't. He left her office feeling like he'd just navigated a minefield blindfolded. Whatever Makima's true agenda, it went beyond helping him get home. Her interest in resurrection and gods troubled him. But for now, he had devils to hunt. The operation briefing took place at dawn. Aki laid out satellite images and intelligence reports on a conference table. Gun Devil fragments have been detected in 3 locations around Yokohama, he explained to the assembled team, Goku, Denji, Power, and several other devil hunters Goku hadn't worked with before. Normally, fragments remain dormant unless combined. This unprecedented activity suggests they're responding to something. Goku said flatly. They're responding to my energy. Aki nodded. That's our working theory. Which makes you both our best asset and our greatest liability in this operation. Power is the greatest asset, the Blood Fiend protested. Focus, power, Aki sighed. We'll split into 3 teams to handle the fragments simultaneously. Goku and Denji will take the harbor fragment, likely the strongest based on readings. Power, you're with me at the shopping district. Team 3 takes the warehouse district. Denji yawned loudly. Why so early? Devils sleep too, right? Gun Devil fragments are most active at dawn and dusk, Aki explained patiently. Transitional periods. Whatever, Denji grumbled. Just point me at something to cut. The briefing continued, covering extraction protocols and civilian evacuation procedures. Throughout, Goku noticed Aki watching him with subtle concern. As they prepared to deploy, Aki pulled Goku aside. A word of caution, he said quietly. Gun Devil fragments contain memories from the original. They learn from each encounter. Don't underestimate them. Thanks for the warning, Goku replied. You seem worried. Aki's expression tightened. Makima's interest in you is unusual. Be careful what you share with her. Before Goku could press for details, Aki turned away, rejoining Power for their assignment. The warning only reinforced Goku's growing suspicion that Makima's agenda remained hidden from even her closest associates. They deployed via helicopter, the early morning mist shrouding Yokohama harbor in gray. Goku and Denji dropped to the docks, the area already evacuated by advance teams. Ever fought gun-toting monsters before? Denji asked, scanning the shipping containers stretching before them. Can't say I have, Goku admitted. But I've been shot plenty of times. Denji glanced at him skeptically. You're bulletproof. Not exactly. Just fast enough to dodge or tough enough to take it. Goku closed his eyes, sensing the energy around them. Something's close. East side, near those red containers. Show off, Denji muttered, but headed in the indicated direction. They moved quietly through the maze of shipping containers, alert for movement. Fog limited visibility to a few meters, creating an eerie stillness broken only by distant foghorns and the lapping of waves against the docks. "I don't like this," Denji whispered. "Too quiet." As if in response, a metallic clicking sound echoed through the mist, like dozens of guns being cocked simultaneously. "Down!" Goku shouted, tackling Denji as gunfire erupted from multiple directions. Bullets tore through shipping containers above them, metal shrieking as it was perforated. Goku rolled with Denji behind a concrete barrier, bullets pinging off the surface. "That's a lot of guns," Denji shouted over the cacophony. "Stay low," Goku instructed. "I'm going to draw its fire." "What? That's suicide." "I'm faster than bullets," Goku replied with a confident grin. "Usually." Before Denji could protest further, Goku darted from cover, moving in a blur. Gunfire immediately tracked his movement, tearing up the dock as he zigzagged between containers. Now he could see their attacker through gaps in the mist, a grotesque amalgamation of firearms, roughly humanoid but with gun barrels protruding from every surface. It stood atop a container, rotating to track Goku's movement. "Here goes nothing," Goku muttered, changing direction abruptly and charging directly at the creature. The gun devil fragment intensified its fire, a storm of bullets converging on Goku's position. He weaved between them, feeling several graze his skin, painful but not debilitating. As he closed the distance, he gathered ki into his fist, preparing to strike. The fragment seemed to anticipate this, suddenly disassembling itself. Guns split apart, reconfiguring into a defensive formation that would catch Goku in crossfire if he continued his trajectory. "Clever," Goku acknowledged, adjusting midair. Instead of attacking, he landed on an adjacent container, immediately launching back into motion as bullets shredded the spot he'd occupied. "Denji, now," he called out. Chainsaw Man erupted from behind a nearby container, engines roaring. The gun devil fragment swiveled to target this new threat, momentarily diverting fire from Goku. That split second was all Goku needed. He dashed in from the fragment's blind spot, striking its core, a pulsating mass of twisted metal and organic material. The impact sent shockwaves through the creature, disrupting its configuration. Chainsaw Man capitalized on the opening, chainsaws tearing into the destabilized fragment. Guns fired wildly as Denji ripped through vital connections, black blood spraying across the docks. "Keep going," Goku shouted, delivering precision strikes to key points he identified in the creature's structure. Working together, they systematically dismantled the gun devil fragment, preventing it from reconfiguring effectively. With a final roar of his engines, Chainsaw Man severed what appeared to be the central nervous system of the fragment. The guns fell silent, collapsing into a heap of twisted metal that rapidly disintegrated into black particles. "That was awesome," Denji exclaimed, his mask retracting to reveal his grinning face. "We totally sync up when fighting." Goku nodded, breathing heavily. Several bullet wounds marked his arms and legs, nothing serious, but evidence that this world could hurt him more easily than his own. "Good teamwork. You read my move perfectly." "Fighting with you is different," Denji observed, examining a wound on his own arm that was already healing. "Most people just get in my way or tell me what to do. You just flow with it. That's how the best partnerships work," Goku explained. "Reading each other's rhythms, compensating for weaknesses, enhancing strengths." Their communicators crackled. Aki's voice came through, tense but controlled. "Harbor team, report status." "Fragment eliminated," Goku responded. "No civilian casualties. Dock secure." "Confirmed." "Shopping district secure as well." A pause. "Warehouse team reporting heavy resistance. Requesting backup." Goku and Denji exchanged looks. "We're on our way," Goku replied. "Coordinates?" After receiving the location, they moved quickly through the city, Goku carrying Denji across rooftops to maximize speed. They arrived at the warehouse district to find chaos, buildings ablaze, public safety agents taking cover behind vehicles, medical teams treating wounded. Team 3's leader, a serious woman named Tendo, briefed them rapidly. Fragments bigger than anticipated. Possibly multiple fragments merged. It's holed up in that central warehouse, picking us off whenever we approach. Any special abilities? Goku asked, assessing the situation. It can predict trajectories with perfect accuracy, Tendo explained grimly. Every approach vector we've tried, it's calculated the exact firing solution. 3 dead, 7 wounded. Denji cracked his knuckles. So we need to be unpredictable. Exactly. Goku studied the warehouse. Denji, remember how we handled the alien devil? Same principle. I'll create multiple distractions. You come in from an unexpected angle. Through the roof, Denji decided. While it's focusing on ground level. Perfect. They executed the plan immediately. Goku created key duplicates, pale imitations of his usual energy clones, but sufficient to draw fire, sending them charging from different directions. Bullets tore through the clones, dispelling them, but each bought precious seconds for Denji to scale a nearby building unnoticed. When all eyes were on Goku's frontal assault, Chainsaw Man crashed through the warehouse skylight, chainsaws roaring. Inside, the Gun Devil fragment responded with a barrage of fire upward, temporarily ceasing its attack on Goku. Seizing the opportunity, Goku burst through the warehouse door, navigating the bullet storm with practiced precision. The fragment, indeed larger than the harbor one, seemingly composed of multiple pieces, attempted to track both threats simultaneously, guns swiveling in different directions. Its coordination is breaking down. Goku called to Denji. Keep the pressure on. They attacked from opposite sides, never staying still long enough for the fragment to establish a firing solution. Denji's chainsaws severed gun barrels while Goku targeted connecting tissue, methodically dismantling the creature's defenses. Cornered and malfunctioning, the Gun Devil fragment attempted a desperate measure, its entire structure began to glow with heat, bullets in chambers cooking off randomly. It's going to self-destruct. Goku realized. Denji, get out. What about you? Chainsaw Man shouted back, already moving toward an exit. I'll contain it. Goku gathered what ki he could muster, creating a barrier around the increasingly unstable fragment. Go. Denji hesitated only briefly before diving through a window. Moments later, the fragment detonated, thousands of rounds firing simultaneously in all directions. Goku's barrier absorbed much of the explosion, but the strain overwhelmed his still limited control of ki in this world. The barrier shattered, sending Goku flying backward through the warehouse wall as bullets and shrapnel tore into his body. He crashed into the pavement outside, vision blurring from the impact. Goku. Denji's voice seemed distant. Darkness threatened to overtake him, but Goku fought to remain conscious. He'd survived worse, much worse. This world might limit his power, but it couldn't change his Saiyan resilience. Medical teams rushed to his position, voices overlapping in urgent tones. Goku felt himself being lifted onto a stretcher, Denji's worried face appearing in his field of vision. Don't die, you idiot. Denji demanded. Who else is gonna eat breakfast with power? Goku managed a pained smile before finally surrendering to unconsciousness. He woke in the public safety medical facility, bandaged extensively but alive. Sunlight streamed through half-drawn blinds, indicating at least a day had passed. About time, a familiar voice commented. Goku turned his head to see Power perched on a chair beside his bed, reading a manga upside down. How long was I out? He asked, voice raspy. 26 hours. Power announced. Denji said you exploded. Very disappointing to miss the explosion. Sorry to disappoint, Goku. Replied with a weak laugh, wincing at the pain in his ribs. You almost died, another voice added. Aki stood in the doorway, expression unreadable as ever. The medical team was surprised by your recovery rate. Scion biology, Goku explained, attempting to sit up. We get stronger after recovering from serious injuries. Convenient trait for a warrior, Aki observed. Power wants this ability too, the blood fiend declared. Teach Power your regeneration secrets. It's not something I can teach, Goku explained patiently. It's genetic. Disappointing again. Despite her complaints, Power had apparently appointed herself Goku's caretaker during his recovery, as evidenced by the pile of snacks and manga by his bedside. Her version of care primarily involved eating his hospital food and loudly reading comics to him, but Goku appreciated the gesture nonetheless. The operation, he asked Aki. Successful. All fragments contained. Aki stepped fully into the room. Your actions saved lives. Team 3 would have been annihilated if you hadn't intervened. Just doing what needed to be done. Aki nodded, a flicker of respect crossing his usually stoic features. Makima wants to see you once you're mobile. She was interested in your recovery process. I bet she was, Goku muttered. Spaceman is popular. Power declared, abandoning her manga. Even Kishibe said you weren't completely useless. High praise. Goku laughed, then immediately regretted it as pain lanced through his chest. Still healing, I guess. You should rest, Aki advised. I'll inform Makima you need more time. No, I'm fine, Goku insisted, swinging his legs over the side of the bed. Scions heal fast. Just need to stretch. Aki looked skeptical but didn't argue. I'll wait outside. After he left, Power leaned in conspiratorially. Aki worried about you. Paced the hallway. Very amusing to watch. He doesn't seem the worrying type, Goku observed, carefully testing his limbs. Everything hurt, but nothing was non-functional. Aki pretends to be cold, Power explained with surprising insight. But he cares. Like how Power pretends to be selfish but is actually magnanimous and benevolent. Goku smiled at her self-assessment. You've all been kind to me, in your own ways. Of course. You are Power's breakfast rival. When you die, it must be by Power's hand, not some gun monster's. Her logic was twisted but strangely touching. Goku stood carefully, finding his balance. Someone had provided a fresh GI, folded neatly on a chair. He changed while Power, respectfully, turned her back, though he caught her peeking curiously. Ready? Aki asked when they emerged from the room. Goku nodded. Lead the way. Makima waited in a laboratory rather than her office. Scientists bustled around equipment Goku didn't recognize, analyzing samples and reviewing data. Remarkable recovery, she commented as Goku entered. Our medical director estimates your healing rate at approximately 5 times human standard. Scion physiology, Goku explained simply. We're built to survive. So I see. Makima dismissed the hovering scientists with a gesture. Once alone, she continued, the gun devil fragments were indeed responding to your energy. Analysis confirms they were attempting to configure themselves to counteract your specific frequency. They were evolving to fight me specifically. Devils adapt. Especially intelligent ones. Makima brought up images on a screen, waveform patterns comparing different energy signatures. What's more concerning is this. She highlighted a particular pattern that appeared in both Goku's readings and the gun devil fragments. Resonance, she explained. Your energy is harmonizing with devil frequencies. The longer you remain in our world, the more pronounced the effect becomes. What does that mean? It means more devils will be drawn to you, stronger ones, specifically attuned to your presence. Makima's expression remained neutral, but her eyes gleamed with something like fascination. You're becoming a beacon. Goku absorbed this troubling information. So I'm putting everyone at risk by staying. Yes and no. Your presence attracts threats, but your abilities help neutralize them. Makima switched to a different display, a map showing energy disturbances across Tokyo. More importantly, each devil manifestation creates dimensional instabilities. The pattern is becoming clearer. She highlighted a specific area, an abandoned industrial zone outside the city. This location shows the highest concentration of dimensional fluctuations. Our scientists believe it may be possible to create a controlled rift there under specific conditions. Hope surged in Goku's chest. A way home? Theoretically. But it would require an enormous energy catalyst. Makima turned to face him directly. A powerful devil manifestation could provide that catalyst. You want to lure a devil powerful enough to tear reality, Goku realized. Using me as bait. Essentially, yes. Makima didn't bother denying it. The risks are considerable, but the science is sound. Goku frowned. What if the devil is too powerful? You'd be endangering the entire city. We would take precautions. Makima's tone remained even. And you would be there to help contain the threat. This feels like a dangerous gamble. Existence is a dangerous gamble. Makima studied him closely. But perhaps you prefer to wait years while we develop alternative methods? I understand your family is important to you. She was manipulating him, Goku realized. Using his desire to return home to push him toward a risky plan. Yet the prospect of seeing Chi-Chi, Gohan, and Goten again was powerful motivation. I need time to think about this, he said finally. Of course. Makima nodded graciously. Consider carefully. In the meantime, rest and recover. Your next assignment will come soon enough. As Goku turned to leave, alarms suddenly blared throughout the facility. Red emergency lights flashed in the corridors. What's happening? He asked, instantly alert despite his injuries. Makima checked her phone, expression unchanging despite the obvious emergency. Interesting timing. It appears a new devil has manifested in central Tokyo. Initial reports suggest a cosmic entity of some kind. Another one drawn to me? Almost certainly. Makima met his gaze. Consider it a preview of what's to come if you remain. Goku didn't waste time responding. He rushed to the operations center, where Aki was already coordinating response teams. Situation? Goku demanded. Unknown devil type, Aki replied tersely. Manifested near Tokyo Tower. Massive energy signature, unlike anything we've recorded. The main screen showed aerial footage of the scene, a swirling vortex of darkness hovering above the city landmark. Stars were visible within the vortex despite the daylight, constellations unlike any Goku recognized. Casualty reports coming in, an analyst announced. People within 1 kilometer reporting loss of gravity, disorientation, radiation sickness symptoms. Space, Goku realized. It's manifesting the vacuum of space. The space devil, Aki confirmed grimly. Humanity's fear of the cosmos itself. Significantly more dangerous than the alien devil. Denji burst into the operations center, already pulling his cord. Finally, some real action. This isn't a game, Aki snapped. This devil could potentially create a black hole in downtown Tokyo. Then we need to stop it quickly, Goku said, determination overriding his lingering pain. I'm going. You're still injured, Aki protested. Doesn't matter. Goku checked his GI, tightening his belt. This thing appeared because of me. My responsibility. Makima, who had entered silently behind them, spoke up. Goku is correct. His energy signature may be key to containing this threat. She turned to the operations team. Deploy all available devil hunters. Priority is civilian evacuation and containment. Goku and Denji will engage directly. As teams mobilized around them, Denji sidled up to Goku. You sure you're up for this? You got pretty messed up yesterday. I fought in worse condition, Goku assured him with a confident smile. Besides, can't let you have all the fun. Denji grinned back, revving his starter cord. That's the spirit. As they headed for the deployment helicopter, Goku caught sight of Makima watching him with that unnerving, calculating gaze. Her earlier words echoed in his mind, a preview of what's to come if you remain. The implication was clear, either risk everything on her dimensional rift plan, or watch as increasingly powerful devils were drawn to his presence. Neither option seemed ideal, but time was running out. For now, though, Tokyo needed saving. And that, at least, was familiar territory. The space devil hung above Tokyo Tower like a tear in reality itself, a swirling maelstrom of cosmic energy through which alien stars gleamed. The area below had been partially evacuated, but civilians caught in the initial manifestation floated helplessly in the air, some already unconscious from oxygen deprivation as the devil created pockets of vacuum. That's bigger than I expected, Denji commented as their helicopter circled at a safe distance. Goku studied the phenomenon, feeling its pull even from here, not just physical gravity, but something tugging at his very essence. It's trying to draw me in specifically. Lucky you, Denji replied, transforming into Chainsaw Man with a roar of engines. Aki's voice came through their communicators, we've established a perimeter. Power and I are coordinating rescue teams for floating civilians. Your priority is containing the devil before it expands further. Roger that, Goku acknowledged. Any weaknesses identified? Negative. This devil type is unprecedented. Great, Denji muttered. We're flying blind. Literally. Goku turned to him with a serious expression. Follow my lead. Don't get separated. Space is unforgiving, no air, extreme temperatures, radiation. Even with your regeneration, it could be fatal. Got it. Stick together, don't breathe vacuum. Simple plan. They jumped from the helicopter, immediately feeling the devil's gravitational influence. Goku focused his energy to maintain control of his trajectory, guiding them both toward the edge of the distortion field. The space devil noticed their approach, the swirling vortex contracting slightly before expanding toward them. Stars within the maelstrom rearranged themselves, forming what vaguely resembled a face. Outsider, it boomed, voice somehow carrying despite the vacuum around it. Your existence violates natural law. That's rich coming from a hole in reality, Denji shouted back, chainsaws revving aggressively. The devil ignored him, focusing on Goku. You will join the void. Tendrils of cosmic energy lashed out, moving at near light speed. Goku dodged most, but one caught his ankle, instantly freezing the flesh with the cold of deep space. He broke free with a burst of ki, grimacing at the frostbite damage. Direct attacks won't work, he called to Denji. It's not fully material. So what's the plan? Goku analyzed the devil's structure, looking for patterns. The stars inside it, they're forming configurations. Energy nodes. We need to disrupt them. Chainsaw Man nodded, following Goku's guidance as they darted around the periphery of the vortex, avoiding direct contact with the vacuum effect while targeting the glowing constellations within. Goku fired precisely controlled ki blasts at specific stars, causing them to flare and destabilize. Denji followed up by charging through the weakened sections, chainsaws disrupting the energy patterns further. The space devil roared in pain or rage, the vortex contracting violently before expanding with renewed force. The gravitational pull intensified, dragging both fighters closer to its center. It's adapting. Goku shouted, struggling against the pull. We need a new approach. Denji, less able to resist the gravitational force, was dragged dangerously close to the void. Open to suggestions. Goku focused, gathering what ki he could muster despite his injuries. In his own world, he could have transformed, overcoming the devil's pull with raw power. Here, he needed to be smarter. Denji, he called. Remember what Kishibe said about devils? They exploit weaknesses. So we find the space devil's weakness. Goku studied the swirling patterns. Space is emptiness, vacuum, cold. Its opposite would be matter. Heat. Denji realized, still struggling against the pull. We need to fill it with something solid. Goku nodded. Not just any matter. Specific matter. He pointed to Tokyo Tower below them. Metal. Conductive material to disrupt its energy patterns. Understanding dawned in Chainsaw Man's eyes. He revved his engines to maximum, chainsaws elongating. I'll cut the tower. You push it in. Exactly. They executed the plan immediately. Denji dove toward Tokyo Tower, chainsaws tearing through structural supports with precision. Meanwhile, Goku gathered energy for one massive burst, timing it carefully. As the tower's upper section began to topple, Goku released his energy in a concentrated wave, accelerating the falling metal directly into the Space Devil's vortex. Hundreds of tons of steel and electronics plunged into the cosmic void. The effect was immediate and dramatic. The Space Devil's form convulsed, stars within its mass flickering erratically as it attempted to process the sudden intrusion of dense matter. The gravitational field fluctuated, momentarily weakening. Now! Goku shouted. Hit the center while it's destabilized. Chainsaw Man didn't need telling twice. He charged directly into the weakened vortex, chainsaws aimed at what appeared to be the Devil's core, a particularly dense cluster of stars at its center. Goku followed closely, ignoring the burning cold of near vacuum against his skin. Together, they reached the core simultaneously, attacking from different angles. Denji's chainsaws tore into the physical manifestation while Goku struck the energy pattern with ki-enhanced blows. The Space Devil shuddered violently, its cosmic form beginning to collapse inward. Stars winked out one by one as the vortex contracted. It's working! Denji shouted triumphantly. Keep going. But the devil had one final defense. As its form destabilized, it released a massive burst of radiation, the kind found only in the death throes of stars. The blast caught both fighters at point-blank range. Goku felt the energy burning through him at a cellular level, far more damaging than conventional attacks. He grabbed Denji, creating a hasty ki barrier around them both as they were blown clear of the collapsing vortex. They tumbled through the air, Goku's consciousness flickering from radiation exposure. His last coherent thought before darkness claimed him was that he'd never make it home at this rate. He woke again in the medical facility, this time with more extensive equipment surrounding his bed. Monitoring devices beeped steadily, tracking vital signs that would have alarmed human doctors. Scion physiology operated at different baselines. Third time this week, a voice commented drily. Becoming a habit. Goku turned to see Kishibe seated nearby, nursing his ever-present flask. Did we win? If by win you mean prevent a cosmic horror from swallowing Tokyo, then yes. Kishibe took a swig. Though Tokyo Tower owners might disagree about the victory margin. Denji. Already recovered. Hybrid regeneration outpaces even your alien healing. Kishibe leaned forward. Radiation poisoning would have killed any normal human instantly. You were unconscious for 3 days. 3 days. Goku attempted to sit up, finding his body unusually weak. That's longer than I expected. Mikima's scientists found it fascinating, Kishibe remarked with thinly veiled distaste. They've been studying your recovery patterns with great interest. The implication wasn't lost on Goku. Guinea pig research. Public safety isn't known for passing up opportunities. Kishibe stood, approaching the bed. The question is, what will you do now? What do you mean? Mikima's planning something. Something that involves you specifically. Kishibe lowered his voice. The space devil was just the beginning. More are coming, stronger, specifically attuned to your energy signature. She mentioned a plan, Goku admitted. Using a powerful devil manifestation to create a dimensional rift. My ticket home. Kishibe's expression darkened. At what cost? Devils powerful enough to tear reality don't appear without consequences. Thousands could die. I don't want that, Goku said firmly. But I can't stay here indefinitely, attracting increasingly dangerous threats. Then you understand the devil's bargain she's offering. Kishibe glanced toward the door. Choose carefully, Goku. Makima always gets what she wants, one way or another. Before Goku could respond, the door opened to reveal Denji, Power, and Aki, apparently waiting to visit. He lives. Power announced at full volume, causing monitors to beep in protest. Spaceman survives Space Devil. Very fitting. Heard you took a cosmic sunburn from me, Denji said with an appreciative grin. Thanks for that. Anyone would do the same, Goku replied modestly. No, Aki corrected quietly. They wouldn't. Something had changed in how they looked at him, Goku realized. The initial suspicion had been replaced by a tentative acceptance, perhaps even respect. As Kishibe slipped out, the trio updated Goku on developments during his unconsciousness. The Space Devil's defeat had temporarily decreased devil activity citywide, a phenomenon Makima's researchers were studying intently. Theory is that your energy merged with the Space Devils during its destruction, Aki explained. Created a temporary damping field for similar dimensional disruptions. Good news, right? Goku asked hopefully. The three exchanged glances. Not exactly, Denji admitted. Makima says it's just the calm before a bigger storm. Like pressure building up. The next manifestation will be proportionally stronger, Aki elaborated. Possibly catastrophic. Power, uncharacteristically serious, added, big devils coming. Primordial level. The term triggered recognition. Primordial. Makima mentioned those before. Aki nodded grimly. Devils that exist beyond human conception. Darkness. Death. Fear itself. If one manifests completely. He didn't need to finish the thought. Goku understood the implications all too well. When can I leave the medical ward, he asked, determined. Doctor says tomorrow, maybe, Denji replied. You heal fast, but radiation's nasty stuff. Not fast enough, Goku decided, carefully disconnecting monitoring equipment. I need to speak with Makima. Now. Despite their protests, Goku insisted on leaving. His body felt leaden, movements sluggish from lingering radiation effects, but determination drove him forward. If his presence truly threatened this world with primordial devils, decisions needed to be made immediately. He found Makima in her office, apparently expecting him despite his unscheduled departure from medical care. Your recovery continues to impress, she remarked, setting aside documents as he entered. Cut the pleasantries, Goku said, uncharacteristically direct. The Space Devil was a warning shot. What comes next could destroy your entire world. Makima's expression remained placid. Yes. Unless we implement my plan promptly. Your plan risks thousands of lives. My plan risks thousands to save millions, she corrected. The mathematics are quite simple. Goku studied her, trying to read past that perfect mask. What aren't you telling me about primordial devils? Something flickered in her eyes, surprise, perhaps, that he knew the term. They exist across all dimensions, she said carefully. Fear transcends reality barriers. In fact, I suspect the devils of our world connect to the dark energy of your universe as well. This gave Goku pause. You're saying these entities could threaten my world too? Potentially. Especially with the dimensional barriers weakened by your passage. Makima leaned forward slightly. Your presence here is creating cross-dimensional resonance. The longer you remain, the greater the danger to both worlds. If true, this changed everything. Not just his family, but his entire universe could be at risk. What exactly is your plan? Goku asked, decision already forming. We create a controlled environment at the location I showed you, Makima explained. You serve as bait, drawing a powerful devil manifestation. Our scientists harness the dimensional energy released to reopen the rift that brought you here. And I go through while you contain the devil. Precisely. What if you can't contain it? Makima's smile was thin. That's where you come in. Before departing, you help us weaken it sufficiently. The plan had merit, Goku had to admit. Risky, but with proper preparation, potentially viable. And if primordial devils truly threatened both worlds, the stakes justified extreme measures. When? He asked simply. 3 days, Makima replied. We need time to prepare the site, evacuate the surrounding area, position our forces. Goku nodded slowly. 3 days. Then I go home, and your world gets back to normal. As normal as it ever is, Makima agreed. As Goku turned to leave, a question nagged at him. One thing I don't understand. Why help me at all? What do you gain? Makima's expression revealed nothing. Knowledge. Understanding of cross-dimensional principles. And the satisfaction of restoring balance. He didn't believe her, not entirely. But whatever her true motives, their goals temporarily aligned. 3 days, he repeated, and left to prepare. Goku spent those days training intensely despite his weakened state, pushing his body to adapt to this world's limitations. Kishibe supervised these sessions, offering insights on devil weaknesses and combat strategies. You're still thinking like a scion, Kishibe observed during one particularly grueling session. Overwhelming force, direct approaches. Against primordials, that's suicide. Old habits, Goku admitted, wiping sweat from his brow. In my world, power levels usually determine outcomes. Here, it's about contracts, rules, exploitation of weaknesses. Kishibe demonstrated a particular strike technique. Devils operate on symbolic logic as much as physical laws. Understanding their nature is half the battle. Goku absorbed these lessons eagerly. If he was going to face something powerful enough to tear reality before returning home, he needed every advantage. When not training, he spent time with the devil hunters who had, improbably, become something like friends during his short stay. Denji insisted on showing him the best parts of Tokyo before he left, which primarily consisted of ramen shops and manga stores, but Goku appreciated the sentiment. Power declared an ultimate final breakfast competition that somehow stretched into lunch and dinner, with increasingly absurd challenges involving food combinations Goku had never imagined. Even Aki, typically reserved, invited Goku for a quiet drink one evening. They sat in a small izakaya, sake warming them against the night chill. Your world, Aki asked after several drinks had loosened his usual restraint. Is it kinder than ours? Goku considered the question carefully. Different, not necessarily kinder. We have our share of threats, planet-destroying villains, power-hungry gods. But between those crises, there's peace. Family. Hope. Hope, Aki repeated, as if tasting an unfamiliar concept. That's in short supply here. It doesn't have to be, Goku replied. Even in darkness, people find reasons to continue. Aki studied his sake cup thoughtfully. Like Denji and his simple dreams. Power and her childish enthusiasm. Perhaps there's wisdom in their approach. Finding joy where you can, Goku agreed. That's universal. They drank in companionable silence for a while, the unspoken weight of tomorrow's operation hanging between them. If Makima's plan works, Aki said finally, and you return to your world, what will you remember of us? Everything, Goku answered honestly. The courage it takes to fight devils without godlike powers. The humanity that persists despite the darkness. You've all taught me something valuable. Aki nodded, seemingly satisfied with this answer. And we'll remember the man who fell from the sky and fought alongside us without question. It was perhaps the closest thing to sentimentality Goku had heard from the stoic devil hunter. The moment lingered, something like friendship crystallizing between worlds that never should have met. The day of the operation dawned clear and cold. The designated site, an abandoned industrial complex on Tokyo's outskirts, had been evacuated for miles in every direction. Public safety forces established a perimeter, ready to contain whatever emerged. Goku stood at the center of a complex array of equipment, scientists making final adjustments to devices meant to harness dimensional energy. Makima oversaw everything with her usual calm efficiency. Once the devil manifests, she explained to the assembled team leaders, we have approximately 3 minutes to establish the rift. Goku passes through, and we seal it immediately afterward. What kind of devil are we expecting? Aki asked, gripped tight on his sword. Based on energy signatures and manifestation patterns, likely a conceptual type, fear, perhaps, or existence. Makima's expression remained impassive. Primordial, but containable with coordinated effort. Denji, already in Chainsaw Man form, revved his engines impatiently. Let's get this show on the road. The suspense is killing me. Power nodded enthusiastically, blood spear materializing in her hands. Power is ready for glorious battle. Kishibe, checking his weapons one last time, caught Goku's eye. A subtle nod conveyed volumes, be careful, don't trust completely, watch for the unexpected. Scientists activated the equipment surrounding Goku. Energy hummed through the array, creating a localized field designed to amplify his dimensional resonance. The air shimmered with potential. Now, Makima instructed, focus your energy. Think of your home dimension. Create a beacon. Goku closed his eyes, concentrating on memories of his world, Chi-Chi's cooking, Gohan's smile, Goten's laughter, the peaceful mountains surrounding their home. He gathered ki, channeling it outward in pulses that the equipment amplified and broadcast. For several tense minutes, nothing happened. Then, gradually, the sky above them began to darken, not with clouds, but with something more fundamental. Reality itself seemed to thin, stars becoming visible despite the daylight. It's working, one of the scientists announced, monitoring readings. Dimensional resonance increasing exponentially. The darkness above coalesced, forming what appeared to be a hole in reality itself, similar to the space devil's manifestation, but vastly larger, more controlled. Maintain focus, Makima instructed Goku. We're approaching critical threshold. Suddenly, equipment began to spark and malfunction. Alarms blared as readings spiked beyond predicted parameters. Something's wrong, the lead scientist called out, voice edged with panic. The resonance pattern is changing. Makima's expression tightened fractionally, the first sign of concern Goku had seen from her. What's coming through? Before anyone could answer, the darkness above them pulsed, expanding rapidly. From within emerged what could only be described as absence itself, not a creature of darkness, but the concept of darkness given form. The darkness devil, Aki whispered, horror evident in his voice. Not fear or existence. Darkness. Goku felt it immediately, a profound wrongness that transcended physical threat. This wasn't merely a powerful entity, it was a fundamental force, the fear that had haunted humanity since before civilization. This wasn't part of the plan, Kishibe accused, glaring at Makima. You knew this might happen. Adaptations were necessary, she replied calmly. The darkness devil's energy signature is ideal for creating stable dimensional rifts. The implications hit Goku like a physical blow. You planned this. You wanted the darkness devil specifically. Focus on your objective, Makima replied, unperturbed by the accusation. The rift is forming as predicted. Your path home awaits. Indeed, within the swirling darkness, a familiar energy signature pulsed, a tear leading back to his dimension. Goku could feel it calling to him, tugging at his very essence. But the price was becoming clear. The darkness devil's manifestation was more complete than any he'd witnessed in this world. It expanded outward, darkness flowing like liquid across the sky. Where it touched, reality itself seemed to wither. We can't contain this, Aki realized, backing away. It's too powerful. Power is not afraid of the dark, the blood fiend declared, though her voice trembled slightly. Chainsaw Man revved his engines aggressively. So we cut it down to size. That's what we do. Goku stood at a crossroads, the path home clear before him, his family waiting on the other side. But leaving now would abandon these people to a threat partially unleashed through his presence. The rift pulsed, beginning to stabilize. 60 seconds to optimal transit conditions, a scientist announced. Subject should prepare for dimensional transfer. The darkness devil continued its inexorable expansion, tendrils of absolute blackness reaching toward the assembled humans. Where they touched equipment or personnel, they simply ceased to exist, not destroyed, but erased from reality itself. Goku, now. Makima commanded. The window is opening. He looked at the faces around him, Denji's determined grin visible despite his transformation, Power's false bravado, Aki's stoic acceptance of likely defeat, Kishibe's grim resolve. People who had become comrades in a remarkably short time. The rift beckoned, home just steps away. But something his grandfather had taught him long ago echoed in his mind, true strength isn't measured by battles won, but by the choices made when victory comes at too high a cost. I'm not going, Goku declared, turning away from the rift. Not while this thing threatens your world. Don't be a fool, Makima said sharply. This is your only chance. Maybe so, Goku agreed, dropping into his fighting stance. But I wouldn't deserve to go home if I abandoned friends to save myself. He could have sworn something like genuine surprise flickered across Makima's perfect features before her mask of control returned. Your choice, she acknowledged. Though I question its wisdom. Goku didn't waste time responding. He charged toward the expanding darkness, gathering what ki he could muster in this limited state. The darkness devil sensed his approach, tendrils of void converging on his position. Denji. Power. Aki, he called out. With me. We hit it from all sides. They responded instantly, falling into the coordinated attack pattern they developed during previous battles. Chainsaw Man carved paths through darkness that shouldn't have been tangible. Power's blood weapons disrupted the devil's expansion momentarily. Aki's fox spirits darted through shadows, searching for vulnerabilities. Goku struck the core of the manifestation with everything he had, a concentrated blast of ki that momentarily illuminated the absolute darkness. The devil recoiled, its form contracting briefly before surging outward with renewed force. It's adapting. Goku warned, narrowly avoiding erasure as void tendrils slashed where he'd stood moments before. We need a new approach. The equipment. Kishibe called from behind them. It's designed to amplify dimensional energy. Redirect it. Understanding dawned. Goku changed tactics, focusing not on attacking the devil directly, but on guiding its energy toward the scientific array surrounding the rift. If they could channel the darkness devil's power properly, they might control its manifestation. Denji. The main conduits. Goku pointed toward power lines connecting the equipment. Channel it through there. Chainsaw Man understood immediately, positioning himself to force the devil's tendrils toward specific points in the array. The scientists, catching on to the strategy, frantically recalibrated their equipment. It's working, someone called as darkness flowed into the machinery, momentarily contained. Dimensional energy stabilizing. The rift pulsed more strongly, expanding as it fed on the channeled power. Goku could see his world more clearly through the tear in reality, familiar key signatures calling to him across the dimensional barrier. 30 seconds, a scientist announced. Transit window stabilizing. But the darkness devil wasn't so easily controlled. It surged against its constraints, darkness pooling and pulsing. Equipment began to melt, reality warping around overloaded machinery. It's breaking containment. Aki warned, backing away from failed conduits. The rift fluctuated dangerously, beginning to collapse. Goku's path home was literally closing before his eyes. You must go now, Makima insisted, appearing beside him. The window is collapsing. There won't be another chance. Not until the devil is contained, Goku insisted stubbornly. It cannot be fully contained, Makima replied with startling honesty. Only weakened, forced back to hell temporarily. Even Chainsaw Man cannot devour a primordial completely. As if to emphasize her point, Denji was thrown backward by a massive surge of darkness, his chainsaws momentarily stilled. Power and Aki fought desperately to hold their positions as void tendrils multiplied around them. 10 seconds to collapse, came the urgent call. Goku faced an impossible choice: leave now, abandoning his friends but returning to his family, or stay and fight a battle that might not be winnable. Go, spaceman! Power shouted, blood spear disintegrating as she formed a new one. Power can handle this puny darkness. We've fought worse. Denji called, struggling to his feet, engines sputtering back to life. Get back to your kids. Even Aki nodded grimly. This is our fight. Our world. The rift pulsed once more, beginning its final contraction. Seconds remained before Goku's path home vanished completely. In that moment, clarity struck. His presence here was part of the problem, his dimensional energy feeding the devil's manifestation. Perhaps his departure would weaken it, give his friends a fighting chance. Keep fighting, he told them, decision made. Never surrender, even against impossible odds. Profound wisdom from Spaceman. Power declared. Now go. Goku turned toward the rapidly shrinking rift, gathering himself for the leap home. But before he could move, darkness surged between him and the portal, a final effort by the devil to prevent his escape. No, he shouted, ki flaring around him as he fought through the encroaching void. For the first time since arriving in this world, Goku felt genuine fear, not for himself, but for what would happen to both worlds if he failed. That fear resonated with the darkness devil itself, creating an unexpected feedback loop. The devil's form shuddered, momentarily destabilized by the paradox of feeding on fear directed at itself. In that instant of confusion, Denji struck with perfect timing, chainsaws tearing through weakened darkness to create a path. Now, he roared above the chaos. Goku didn't hesitate. With a final burst of speed, he dove toward the collapsing rift, ki surrounding him as he pierced the dimensional barrier. The last thing he saw before reality shifted was his friends continuing the fight, Denji's chainsaws flashing, Power's blood weapons swirling, Aki's determined expression, Kishibe's knowing nod, and Makima's unreadable eyes following his departure. Then darkness gave way to light, and Goku was falling through familiar skies, the mountains of his home rising to meet him. He'd made it back, changed by his experience in a world where fear itself had power, carrying memories of friends who fought darkness without the godlike abilities he took for granted. And somewhere across dimensions, the battle continued without him. Chapter 3, Heart of the Devil. Goku landed hard in the familiar mountains of Mount Paozu, his body creating a small crater in the soft earth. For a moment he just lay there, breathing in the scent of home, clean air, pine trees, the distant smell of Chi-Chi's cooking. I made it, he whispered, staring up at a perfectly blue sky without dimensional tears or manifested devils. Birds chirped peacefully. Wind rustled through trees. Nothing tried to erase him from existence or harvest his fear. After the chaos of the Chainsaw Man world, the tranquility felt almost unreal. Goku sat up, taking stock. His GI was tattered, body still bruised from the darkness devil encounter, but he could already feel his energy responding differently. Ki flowed naturally here, responsive to his will. He summoned a ball of energy to his palm, watching it form perfectly, steadily. Much better, he grinned, extinguishing the light. With his powers fully accessible again, he should be able to detect his family's energy signatures easily. He closed his eyes, reaching out with his senses. There, Gohan, studying at home. Goten, training with Trunks at Capsule Corporation. Chi-Chi, her gentle presence in their house. All exactly where they should be. Relief washed over him. However long he'd been gone, everything here remained normal. He could go home, hug his sons, eat Chi-Chi's cooking, and put the nightmare world of devils behind him. But as Goku stood to fly home, something strange happened. For just a moment, his shadow deepened unnaturally, stretching toward him like fingers reaching across dimensions. What the? He jerked back instinctively, and the shadow returned to normal. Just his imagination? Or something more troubling? Goku shook off the unease. He was home now. Safe. He launched into the sky, flying toward his family's energy signatures with a lightness he hadn't felt in weeks. Halfway there, pain lanced through his chest. He faltered mid-flight, nearly falling as his vision briefly shifted, overlaying his familiar landscape with glimpses of another battle. Chainsaw Man flying through darkness. Power's blood spear shattering. Aki falling to his knees. No, Goku gasped, steadying himself. The visions faded, but the uncomfortable truth remained. He might have escaped physically, but something of that world had followed him home. Chi-Chi nearly dropped the pot she was carrying when Goku walked through the door. Goku, she exclaimed, rushing to him. Where have you been? It's been 3 days. No note, no call, nothing. 3 days. So time flowed similarly between dimensions. That was useful information, at least. Sorry, Chi-Chi, he said, embracing her. I got pulled into another dimension. Couldn't exactly find a phone booth there. She pushed back to examine him, noting his battered appearance and torn clothing. Another dimension? You look terrible. What happened? Goku opened his mouth to explain, then hesitated. How could he possibly describe the Chainsaw Man world? Devils born from human fears? People who formed contracts with nightmares? It's complicated, he said finally. But I'm home now. That's what matters. Chi-Chi narrowed her eyes, recognizing his evasion, but she let it slide. Well, you're just in time for dinner. Gohan's coming over with Videl, and Goten. Should be back from Bulma's soon. Great. I'm starving. His enthusiasm wasn't faked, Saiyan appetite remained constant across dimensions, but as Chi-Chi returned to cooking, Goku found himself glancing repeatedly at shadows in the corners of their home. Just to be sure they behaved like normal shadows should. Dinner was a joyous reunion. Gohan peppered him with questions about the mysterious dimension, which Goku answered vaguely. Goten climbed all over him, demanding to know if he'd fought any strong opponents. Videl observed with amused skepticism, while Chi-Chi fussed about his weight loss during the interdimensional nonsense. It felt wonderfully normal. Exactly what he'd fought to return to. But that night, after everyone had gone to bed, Goku sat alone on their roof, staring at the stars. The constellations were comfortingly familiar, no alien patterns like those within the Space Devil's vortex. Yet he couldn't shake the feeling that something fundamental had changed. They're still fighting, he murmured to the night sky. Right now, across dimensions, they're battling something I helped awaken. The thought weighed heavily. Goku had never been one to abandon a fight, especially one he'd helped start. But what could he do? The rift was closed. He had no way back, even if returning was the wisest choice. As if responding to his thoughts, pain flared behind his eyes. Visions flashed, Makima standing amid destruction, yellow eyes gleaming with purpose. The darkness devil expanding, consuming more of Tokyo. Denji's chainsaws struggling to cut through void that healed instantly. The images faded, leaving Goku gasping. These weren't mere worries or imagination. Something was maintaining a connection between worlds. The dimensional resonance, he realized. It's still active. His body had adapted to the Chainsaw Man world during his stay, absorbing elements of its reality. Now back in his home dimension, that energy was seeking equilibrium, creating a tenuous link between worlds. Not enough to travel through, but enough to sense echoes of what was happening. Goku frowned, concentrating on the sensation. If he focused, could he strengthen the connection? Perhaps communicate somehow. He closed his eyes, entering a meditative state similar to when sensing distant energy signatures. Instead of searching outward across space, he reached across dimensional barriers, following the resonance of his own adapted energy. For several minutes, nothing happened. Then, faintly at first but growing stronger, he heard a voice. Spaceman energy, flickering, dimensional coordinates. Power. That was definitely Power's voice, though distorted as if coming through static. Goku focused harder, pouring more energy into the connection. Fragment detected. Goku's signature, possible communication. That sounded like one of the public safety scientists. Need more power, amplify the signal. Aki's voice, strained but determined. The connection was working. They sensed him too. Goku concentrated, trying to project his thoughts across the dimensional barrier. I'm here. I made it home. What's happening there? The response came in broken fragments, but clearer than before. Darkness Devil, contained temporarily. Makima says, primordial threat growing. Can you hear me? Goku projected more forcefully. Signal strengthening, is that Goku? Yes. It's me. The connection suddenly sharpened, as if someone had fine-tuned a radio frequency. A voice came through with surprising clarity, Makima's. Fascinating. The dimensional resonance persists even after transit. Can you hear me, Goku? Loud and clear, he replied mentally. What's happening there? I'm seeing flashes of battle. The Darkness Devil retreated after your departure, just as I predicted. Your absence reduced the dimensional instability significantly. Relief flooded through Goku, but Makima continued before he could respond. However, the barrier between worlds remains weakened. We're detecting increased activity from multiple primordial devils. They've become aware of the multiverse in a new way, thanks to your visit. The accusation was subtle but clear. His intrusion into their world had escalated an already dangerous situation. How bad is it? Goku asked. Containable, for now. But that's not why I've been attempting to establish communication. Makima's voice became more focused, intense. Your transition proved something critical. Passage between dimensions is possible without catastrophic reality collapse. This opens opportunities. Something in her tone set off warning bells. What kind of opportunities? The kind that could revolutionize our understanding of devils and their origins. Another voice broke through, Kishibe's, sounding urgently cautionary. Don't listen to. The connection suddenly cut out, leaving Goku alone under the stars again. He opened his eyes, troubled by the exchange. Makima clearly had plans beyond simply managing the devil threat, plans that somehow involved him and the dimensional pathway. As he mulled over the implications, a chill ran down his spine. The shadows on the roof around him seemed to deepen, edges becoming less defined. For a brief moment, he could have sworn one moved against the direction of the moonlight. This isn't over, he murmured, standing to scan the darkness. Not by a long shot. The next morning, Goku flew to Capsule Corporation, seeking Bulma's scientific expertise. If anyone could help him understand the dimensional resonance, it was her. He found her in her lab, surrounded by holographic displays and half-assembled devices. Another dimension, she repeated after he explained his adventure. With fear-based monsters called devils. And you're still connected to it somehow? That's the short version, yeah, Goku nodded. Can you detect any unusual energy signatures around me? Something that might explain the visions I'm having? Bulma grabbed a handheld scanner, running it over him from various angles. There's definitely something strange in your cellular energy pattern. Almost like your ki has been contaminated. No, that's not right. Modified. My energy adapted to their world, Goku explained. It works differently there, thicker, harder to control. Devils manipulate fear as power. Fascinating. Bulma's eyes lit up with scientific curiosity. A dimension where emotional energy has tangible effects. The research applications are, Bulma, Goku interrupted. People are dying. This isn't a research opportunity. Her expression sobered immediately. Right, sorry. Let me run some more tests. For the next several hours, Goku submitted to increasingly complex scans and energy analyses. Bulma's excitement grew with each discovery. This is incredible, she muttered, reviewing results. Your cellular structure has partially adapted to accommodate different dimensional physics. It's like your body developed a translation matrix for converting energy between realities. Is that why I can still sense what's happening there? Exactly. You're resonating with the frequency of that dimension. She pointed to a waveform display. See these patterns? They don't match our universal constants. They belong to somewhere else. Can you use this to help me communicate more clearly? I need to know what's really happening. Bulma considered the problem. Maybe. If I build an amplifier tuned to these specific frequencies. She began sketching designs rapidly. Give me a day. I think I can construct something that might strengthen the connection. Goku nodded gratefully. Thanks, Bulma. I knew I could count on you. Just one thing, she said, looking up from her designs. Are you sure you want to strengthen this connection? Based on what you've told me about these devils, they feed on fear and negative emotion. What if amplifying the signal attracts them here? The possibility hadn't occurred to Goku. You think devils could cross over? Like I did? I don't know, Bulma admitted. But dimensional boundaries work both ways. If you came through, theoretically something else could too, especially if you're maintaining a connection. The implications were chilling. Goku thought of the gun devil, the space devil, the darkness devil, entities that could devastate cities just by manifesting. If they appeared in his world, where no one understood how to fight them. Build the amplifier, he decided. But include an emergency shutdown. If anything feels wrong, we pull the plug immediately. Bulma nodded, returning to her work with renewed focus. Goku left her to it, flying outside to clear his head with some training. In the capsule corp gravity chamber, he pushed his body through increasingly difficult exercises, reveling in the return of his full power. Ki responded instantly to his will, flowing smoothly through familiar patterns. After the frustrating limitations of the Chainsaw Man world, it felt like removing weighted clothing. Yet as he trained, Goku found himself incorporating lessons from Kishibe, economical movements designed to exploit weaknesses, combat strategies that didn't rely solely on overwhelming force. Fighting devils had taught him new approaches, and those lessons remained valuable even with his powers restored. Midway through a complex kata, pain lanced through his head again. Visions overwhelmed him, more vivid than before, almost like being physically present. He stood in what remained of public safety headquarters. Windows shattered, walls cracked. Devil hunters moved with urgent purpose, preparing weapons, studying maps. Makima stood at the center, issuing commands with perfect composure despite the chaos. The international response teams have arrived, she was saying. China's Devil Hunter squad is securing the harbor. The Americans have the airport. Europe's contingent is setting up a perimeter around Tokyo Tower. And the Russians? Aki asked, looking more haggard than Goku remembered. Monitoring from offshore. They don't trust our containment protocols. Makima's expression revealed nothing. Or more accurately, they don't trust me. Smart people, Kishibe muttered. Denji paced nearby, agitated. Who cares about international whatever? We should be hunting that darkness bastard, not playing politics. Politics is how we access resources, Aki explained patiently. The darkness devil's appearance has every nation concerned. If it fully manifests here, global catastrophe. Power interrupted dramatically. World-ending darkness. Very bad. For once, power's not exaggerating, Kishibe confirmed. Primordial devils don't just threaten Japan. They could destabilize worldwide devil management systems. And yet, Makima observed calmly, they're equally concerned about our interdimensional visitor. News of an alien warrior from another reality has spread further than intended. So what? Goku's gone, Denji said. Back to his dimension or whatever. But his energy remains, Makima corrected. The dimensional resonance persists. And where there's resonance, there's potential for return. Kishibe's eyes narrowed. You're still working on that, aren't you? Even after the catastrophe with the darkness devil. Knowledge is never wasted, Makima replied smoothly. If we could establish stable dimensional transit, the vision abruptly cut out as Goku's concentration broke. He found himself on hands and knees in the gravity chamber, breathing heavily. She's still pursuing it, he realized. Whatever her true goal is with dimensional travel, she hasn't given up. And now international devil hunters were involved. The situation was escalating beyond what he'd imagined. Goku pushed himself to his feet, shutting down the gravity chamber. He needed that amplifier sooner rather than later. Something told him time was running short for his friends in that other world. The next day, Bulma presented her creation with justifiable pride. I call it the Dimensional Resonance Amplifier, she announced, unveiling a sleek device roughly the size of a microwave. It uses your unique energy signature as a carrier wave to establish communication across the dimensional barrier. Will it work? Goku asked, examining the machine. In theory, absolutely. In practice. She shrugged. We're literally breaking new ground in interdimensional physics here. But the simulations look promising. The device hummed to life as Bulma activated it. Displays flickered with complex waveforms that meant nothing to Goku. Now what? He asked. Place your hands on these panels, Bulma instructed. They'll synchronize with your energy pattern and amplify the resonance. Focus on the connection you felt before, like you're trying to send someone's ki across a great distance. Goku did as instructed, closing his eyes and concentrating. For several moments, nothing happened except the machine's humming intensifying. Then, gradually, he felt the now familiar sensation of reaching across dimensions. I think it's working, he murmured. I can feel something. Energy patterns stabilizing, Bulma confirmed, watching her instruments. The resonance is strengthening. Try communicating. Goku focused harder, projecting his thoughts across the dimensional barrier. Can anyone hear me? This is Goku. Static filled his mind, then fragmented voices began filtering through. Signal detected, stronger than before. Energy signature confirmed, it's him. Then, with surprising clarity, Goku? Is that really you? Denji's voice. Yes. I'm here. Can you hear me? Holy shit. Guys, it's working. Denji's excitement was palpable even across dimensions. He's talking in my head. Another voice joined in, Aki's. The dimensional communication device is functioning. We can establish two-way contact. Amazing, Goku replied. Bulma created something similar on this side. How are things there? I've been seeing visions of battles. It's bad, Denji admitted. That darkness devil retreated after you left, but it's coming back stronger. And it's not alone. Multiple primordial devils are showing increased activity, Aki elaborated. The dimensional disturbance created ripple effects throughout the hierarchy. Spaceman. Power's unmistakable mental voice boomed through the connection. You missed Power's glorious victories against lesser devils. Goku couldn't help smiling despite the serious situation. I'm sure you were impressive, Power. The international community has taken notice, Aki continued. Devil hunters from around the world have converged on Tokyo. The situation is being classified as a potential extinction-level event. That bad? Goku asked, alarmed. Primordial devils exist in the collective unconscious of all humanity, Aki explained. If one fully manifests in physical reality. He didn't need to finish the thought. Goku had witnessed firsthand what even a partial manifestation of the darkness devil could do. There's more, Denji added, voice dropping. Mikima's been acting weird. Weirder than usual, I mean. Locked away with scientists, studying the dimensional readings from when you left. She's planning something. I know, Goku confirmed. I overheard parts of her conversations. She's still pursuing dimensional travel technology. But why? Aki wondered. What could be worth the risk of further destabilizing reality? Before anyone could speculate, a new voice entered the connection, calm, measured, instantly recognizable. Fascinating. The resonance works both ways. Your scientist friend is quite talented, Goku. Mikima, Goku acknowledged. I was just hearing about the situation there. Then you know time is short, she replied. The primordial devils grow stronger daily. Your departure bought us time, but the dimensional weakening persists. I want to help, Goku said. But I'm stuck on this side. Perhaps not permanently, Mikima suggested. Our research has advanced considerably since your departure. We believe controlled dimensional transit might be possible again, under specific circumstances. Alarm bells rang in Goku's mind. What circumstances? A coordinated effort from both sides. Your energy signature is the key, the only one that has successfully traversed the barrier. If you and our scientists work together, we might establish a stable connection. It sounded reasonable, but something in Mikima's tone suggested hidden motives. To what end? Goku asked cautiously. Even if we could open a pathway, wouldn't that risk attracting more devils? A calculated risk, she acknowledged. But one that might be necessary. The primordials aren't just threatening our world anymore, Goku. They've become aware of the multiverse. Your world could be next. The claim sent a chill through Goku. Was she manipulating him, or sharing a genuine concern? Before he could respond, Kishibe's voice cut through. Don't trust her, Goku. She's not telling you everything. The international teams discovered, the connection suddenly destabilized, Kishibe's voice cutting out mid-sentence. Interference is to be expected with experimental technology, Mikima said smoothly. Consider my proposal. I'll have our scientists transmit the technical specifications your friend will need. The connection severed completely, leaving Goku staring at Bulma's machine in frustration. What happened? Bulma asked, noting his expression. Politics, Goku replied grimly. Did you record any of the technical data they started sending? Bulma checked her instruments. Some. Not complete plans, but enough to get a sense of what they're proposing. She frowned at the readings. Goku, this is concerning. The energy requirements for what they're suggesting would be enormous. And the dimensional stress could potentially break reality, he guessed. Exactly. Whatever they're planning, it's not just a simple dimensional doorway. Goku paced the laboratory, processing this information. Mikima claims the devils that attacked me are becoming aware of the multiverse. That they might threaten this world next. Is that possible? Bulma asked. I don't know. But something felt off about the whole conversation. He stopped pacing. Kishibe was trying to warn me about something the international teams discovered. Something Makima doesn't want me to know. So what do we do? Goku stared at the amplifier thoughtfully. We keep the channel open, but carefully. I need more information before deciding anything. And if devils really can target our world? Then we'll handle them, Goku said with confidence. We've faced universe-destroying threats before. But first, I need to understand what we're really dealing with. As if responding to his determination, the shadows in the corner of the lab seemed to deepen momentarily. Goku watched them carefully until they returned to normal, but the message was clear. Time was running out. Over the next 24 hours, Goku maintained intermittent contact with the Chainsaw Man world, gathering fragments of information between connection disruptions. What emerged was troubling. International Devil Hunter teams had indeed discovered something significant, ancient records suggesting primordial devils existed across all dimensions, not just the Chainsaw Man world. They were fundamental fears embedded in conscious existence itself, merely manifesting differently according to each reality's rules. In the Chainsaw Man world, they took physical form as devils. In Goku's world, they might manifest as different entities entirely, perhaps even explaining some of the darker gods and destructive forces he'd encountered. Most concerning was evidence that Makima herself had been researching dimensional travel long before Goku's accidental arrival. His presence had merely accelerated her plans. She's not telling us everything, Aki confirmed during one brief connection. The Americans intercepted communications between Makima and government officials. References to interdimensional harvesting and power transfer protocols. She wants something from your world, Denji added. Something worth risking everything for. Any idea what? Goku asked. No, but, Aki's voice cut out suddenly, replaced by static. These interruptions grew more frequent as the day progressed, suggesting either deteriorating dimensional stability or deliberate interference. Goku couldn't determine which possibility was more concerning. During one particularly clear connection, Power managed to transmit a startling piece of information. Spaceman. Power overheard important secrets. Her mental voice practically vibrated with excitement. Makima talking about Dragon Balls in your world. Magic wish orbs. Goku's blood ran cold. What exactly did she say about them? Something about resurrection protocols and divine intervention capacity. Very scientific words. The pieces clicked together with disturbing clarity. Makima had been fishing for information about the Dragon Balls during his stay, particularly their resurrection capabilities. If she'd somehow confirmed their existence, it would explain her obsession with dimensional travel. This is bad, Goku muttered. If she's after the Dragon Balls. What are these Dragon Ball things anyway? Denji asked, briefly joining the connection. Powerful artifacts in my world, Goku explained cautiously. When gathered, they can grant wishes, including bringing the dead back to life. Holy shit, Denji breathed. No wonder Makima wants them. In our world, when you're dead, you're dead. Except devils, who just go back to hell. Exactly. And that's why, the connection abruptly terminated again, more violently than before. Bulma's amplifier sparked worryingly, forcing her to shut it down for repairs. Sorry, she apologized. The dimensional frequency is becoming increasingly unstable. Whatever's happening over there is affecting the barrier between worlds. Goku nodded grimly. It's the primordials. They're growing stronger, pushing against reality itself. Can you still see visions without the amplifier? Yes, but they're fragmented, harder to interpret. Goku closed his eyes, concentrating. I can sense enormous energy building, dark, primal fear taking shape. And Makima wants to create a portal in the middle of all that? Bulma shook her head. Either she's insane or she knows something we don't. Both, probably, Goku sighed. How soon can the amplifier be operational again? A few hours, maybe. But Goku. Bulma hesitated. I'm detecting concerning patterns in the dimensional resonance. The barrier between worlds is thinning, becoming more permeable. If it continues weakening at this rate, something might come through, he finished. I know. I've been feeling it too. The shadows have been behaving strangely all day, deepening at odd moments, moving against light sources, sometimes seeming to watch him. Nothing overtly threatening yet, but unnervingly reminiscent of the darkness devil's influence. We need to prepare for the possibility, Goku decided. If devils can manifest in our world, even partially, we need to understand how to fight them. I'll alert the others, Bulma agreed, reaching for her phone. A multidimensional crisis is definitely a Z-Fighter emergency. While Bulma contacted their friends, Goku stepped outside, needing fresh air and clarity. The sun was setting, casting long shadows across Capsule Corporation's grounds. As darkness fell, he noticed something disturbing. The shadows weren't simply growing with the changing light, they were deepening, becoming more substantive than mere absence of light should allow. It's starting, he realized. The barrier is weakening. He focused his senses, probing the anomaly. What he felt confirmed his fears, a faint but unmistakable energy signature, similar to what he'd encountered in the Chainsaw Man world. The dimensional resonance was allowing something to bleed through. Not a full manifestation, not yet. But a harbinger of what might come if the barrier continued deteriorating. Goku raised his hand, gathering ki into a glowing sphere. The unnatural shadows recoiled from the light, retreating temporarily. Light against darkness, he murmured. Just like with the darkness devil. The tactical implications were clear, in his world, ki energy could repel devil influence. But temporary repulsion wouldn't solve the underlying problem of weakening dimensional barriers. As night fully claimed the sky, Goku remained vigilant, maintaining a low-level ki aura that kept the deepening shadows at bay. Tomorrow would bring difficult decisions. For now, he needed to ensure nothing crossed over while the barrier was at its thinnest. Morning couldn't come soon enough. Bulma's amplifier was operational again by dawn, after a night of increasingly troubling shadow behavior. Several times, Goku had been forced to release energy pulses to drive back what appeared to be probing tendrils of darkness. The Z-Fighters had assembled at Capsule Corp, briefed on the situation and ready for whatever might come. Vegeta, predictably, seemed more intrigued than concerned by the prospect of enemies from another dimension. So these devils manifest from fear itself, he asked skeptically. Sounds like psychological weakness to me. Don't underestimate them, Goku warned. The darkness devil nearly erased me from existence, and my powers were severely limited there. If it manifests here, even partially, we'll have a serious fight on our hands. Humph. We've handled gods of destruction. I think we can manage some shadows. Goku didn't argue further. Vegeta would understand when, if, he saw a devil firsthand. They gathered around the repaired amplifier as Bulma made final adjustments. The connection should be stronger now, she explained. I've isolated the frequency pattern and boosted the carrier wave. Just be careful, dimensional integrity is still degrading. Goku nodded, placing his hands on the interface panels. As before, he focused on the resonance, reaching across the barrier between worlds. Almost immediately, a response came, urgent, frantic. Goku. Can you hear us? We need to establish contact now. It was Aki's voice, tense with barely controlled panic. I'm here, Goku responded. What's happening? The situation has deteriorated rapidly. Multiple primordial manifestations are occurring simultaneously. The Darkness Devil, the Death Devil, the War Devil, they're converging on Tokyo. International containment efforts have failed, another voice added, one of the scientists. Casualty rates exceeding 70% in frontline response teams. Mikima's implementing the Dimensional Transit Protocol, Aki continued. She claims it's our last option, that connecting to your world might somehow stabilize the barrier. Alarm surged through Goku. Wait. That could make things worse. The barrier is already weakening. I've seen devils trying to manifest here. That's what Kishibe said too, but he's been overruled. The government's desperate. Another voice broke through, Denji's, sounding exhausted. It's bad, man. Really bad. We can't hold them back much longer. Power's hurt. Aki's running on fumes. I've never seen devils like these before. Where's Makima now? At the research facility, Aki replied. The same location where you departed. She's activated something called the Dimensional Harmonic Array. Says it will synchronize with your unique energy signature to establish a stable corridor. This matched the partial specifications Bulma had received. The science was plausible but incredibly dangerous, essentially creating a controlled tear in reality, using Goku's resonant energy as both catalyst and stabilizer. What's her real goal? Goku asked. We know she's after the Dragon Balls. A moment of silence, then Aki responded carefully. She believes your world's resurrection capabilities could permanently alter the balance between humans and devils. If death could be reversed, then devils would lose their fundamental advantage. Goku finished. I understand the appeal, but messing with dimensional barriers could destroy both our worlds. We know, Aki acknowledged grimly. But we're out of options. The primordials are fully manifesting. Tokyo is nearly lost. If they complete convergence, the effect will cascade globally. Goku processed this dire assessment. If primordial devils truly existed across all dimensions as fundamental fear entities, their full manifestation in the Chainsaw Man world could potentially weaken reality barriers everywhere, including his world. What do you need me to do? He asked finally. Makima says you need to focus your energy on the dimensional resonance, amplify it from your side while their equipment does the same from theirs. Creating a synchronized frequency that stabilizes rather than tears. It sounded reasonable in theory. But Goku remained suspicious of Makima's true intentions. Put Kishibe on, he requested. I want his assessment. After a moment, the gruff devil hunter's voice came through. This is against my better judgment, but we're out of conventional options. The Darkness Devil has partially manifested in 7 cities simultaneously. The Death Devil's influence is causing mass suicides globally. If Makima's plan has any chance of working. The resignation in Kishibe's voice spoke volumes. Even the most skeptical among them saw no alternative. Alright, Goku decided. I'll coordinate from this side. But I need constant communication. If anything seems wrong, anything at all, we abort immediately. Understood, Aki confirmed. Initiating synchronization in 3 minutes. Transmitting frequency parameters now. Bulma received the technical specifications, quickly adjusting the amplifier to match the required patterns. Her expression grew increasingly concerned as she reviewed the data. Goku, this is incredibly risky, she warned quietly. They're essentially creating a stable wormhole between dimensions. The energy requirements are astronomical. Can it work? Theoretically, yes. With your unique energy signature as the anchor point, it might actually stabilize rather than destroy the barrier. She bit her lip. But if it fails, both worlds could be torn apart, he finished. I know. Why would Makima risk something this dangerous? Vegeta asked, surprisingly perceptive. Even if these devils are as threatening as you claim, this seems like exchanging one disaster for another. Unless she knows something we don't, Goku replied thoughtfully. About how devils truly work across dimensions. The amplifier hummed with increasing intensity as the synchronization time approached. Through the connection, Goku could hear frantic preparations on the other side, scientists calling out readings, devil hunters reporting deteriorating conditions outside the facility. 1 minute to synchronization, came the countdown. All personnel clear the chamber except essential operators. Dimensional frequency locked, Bulma confirmed on their side. Ready when you are, Goku. He took a deep breath, centering himself. If this went wrong, the consequences would be catastrophic. If it went right, well, that remained to be seen. 30 seconds. Goku focused on his energy, aligning it with the dimensional resonance as instructed. He could feel the barrier between worlds, thin, strained, ready to tear or stabilize depending on what happened next. 10 seconds. 9. 8. Around the room, shadows began behaving strangely, elongating, deepening, pulsing with unnatural rhythm. 3, 2, 1. Initiating. Goku released his energy in a controlled stream, perfectly matched to the frequency pattern Bulma had calibrated. The amplifier hummed loudly, channeling and magnifying the resonance. For several tense seconds, nothing seemed to happen except the shadows growing increasingly agitated. Then, gradually, a point of light appeared in the center of the laboratory, small at first, but expanding steadily. "It's working," someone shouted from the other side. Dimensional aperture forming. The point of light expanded into a swirling portal about 3 feet in diameter, stable but clearly straining against natural forces that wanted to close it. "Makima, portal established," came a scientist's report. "Readings indicate stability at 67% and holding." "Excellent." Makima's voice came through clearly now, both via the mental connection and audibly through the portal itself. "Proceed with Phase 2. Phase 2? Goku questioned sharply. "What's Phase 2? Instead of answering, Makima appeared at the other side of the portal, visible through the swirling energy like a window between worlds. Behind her, Goku could see the research facility, now clearly damaged from ongoing battles. Emergency lights flashed. Distant explosions shook the structure. "Remarkable achievement," Makima commented, studying the portal with those unsettling yellow eyes. "The first stable interdimensional aperture in human history." "What's Phase 2, Makima?" Goku demanded again. "Stabilization, of course," she replied smoothly. "The portal requires an anchor on both sides, something that resonates with both dimensional frequencies simultaneously." "Meaning what?" "Meaning you, Goku." Her gaze intensified. "Your energy signature is the key. You've adapted to both worlds. Only you can maintain stability while we implement the solution to our devil problem." Suspicion deepened. "And that solution is?" Before Makima could answer, another figure staggered into view behind her, Denji, bloody and exhausted, chainsaw form partially retracted. "Don't listen to her," he shouted. "She's not trying to save our world, she wants to." Makima silenced him with a gesture, not even looking back. Denji clutched his throat, unable to continue. "Passionate but misinformed," she explained calmly. "The stress of battle has affected his judgment." "Let him speak," Goku demanded, gathering energy in preparation for something. He wasn't sure what yet, but Makima's control of Denji confirmed his worst suspicions. "We don't have time for distractions," Makima replied. "The primordials are converging on this facility as we speak. They sense the dimensional aperture and recognize its significance." As if to emphasize her point, the building around her shook violently. Darkness began seeping through walls behind her, unnatural, absolute darkness that seemed to consume light itself. "The darkness devil approaches," Makima observed, still unnervingly calm. "We have minutes at most." "Tell me your real plan," Goku insisted. "Now. Or I shut down this portal immediately." Something flickered across Makima's perfect facade, the barest hint of calculation, recalibration. "Very well," she conceded. "Directness it is. The Dragon Balls in your world can grant wishes, including resurrection. Our world has no such mechanism. When humans die, they stay dead, while devils merely cycle between earth and hell. I know this already. What you don't know is that this imbalance is by design. Mikima's eyes gleamed. Primordial devils exist to maintain the separation between dimensional planes. They are the guardians of death's permanence. And you want to change that, Goku realized. Use the Dragon Balls to establish resurrection in your world. To restore balance, Mikima corrected. The natural order was disrupted eons ago, leaving humans permanently disadvantaged against devils. I aim to correct that cosmic injustice. It sounded noble on the surface. But Goku had spent enough time in her world to recognize the half-truths. And your control over Denji? The way you're manipulating events. That's all for balance too. Necessary means to a justified end. Mikima stepped closer to the portal. The primordials fear this correction. That's why they're converging now, to prevent dimensional equilibrium from being restored. Behind her, the darkness continued spreading, taking more substantive form. Denji struggled to his feet, chainsaws reforming as he prepared to face it. Even if I believed you, Goku said, using the Dragon Balls requires gathering all 7 from across the planet. That would take time we don't have. Time flows differently between synchronized dimensions, Mikima countered. What takes days here could be minutes there. With your instantaneous transmission ability, collection would be trivial. She'd clearly researched his abilities thoroughly. That alone made Goku wary. The facility shook again, more violently. Through the portal, Goku could see ceiling panels collapsing as darkness consumed more of the structure. Decide quickly, Mikima urged. Once the darkness devil fully manifests, the portal will collapse. Both our worlds will remain vulnerable to primordial influence. It was the perfect trap, emotionally and logically compelling, with just enough truth to make her lies plausible. And with genuine catastrophe unfolding behind her, the pressure to act was overwhelming. Goku looked to Bulma, who shook her head slightly. Something's not right about the energy patterns, she whispered. The portal isn't stabilizing both dimensions as she claims. It's transferring something. That confirmed his suspicions. Whatever Mikima truly intended, it wasn't dimensional harmony. I need to see the situation for myself, Goku decided. Not through a portal, not through visions. Directly. Impossible, Mikima replied instantly. Crossing the barrier again would destabilize the careful balance we've established. Then we have nothing more to discuss. Goku began withdrawing his energy from the amplifier. The portal flickered, beginning to contract. Alarm flashed across Mikima's features, the most genuine emotion he'd seen from her. Wait. She composed herself quickly. Perhaps a compromise. Not full transit, but partial extension. You remain anchored here while projecting your consciousness across the threshold. Like astral projection? Bulma asked skeptically. Essentially, yes. Goku's energy is already synchronized with both dimensions. He could extend his awareness without physical crossing. It was risky, but potentially revealing. If Goku could directly perceive what was happening without committing fully to Mikima's plan. All right, he agreed cautiously. Guide me through the process. Mikima nodded, apparently satisfied with this concession. Focus on the portal while maintaining your physical connection to the amplifier. Your consciousness will follow the established resonance pattern. Think of it as sensing ki across great distances, but through dimensional barriers instead of physical space. Goku had performed similar techniques before, his spirit form had even visited King Kai's planet while his body recovered from injuries. This would be more complex, but the principle seemed sound. He concentrated, aligning his energy with the portal's frequency while keeping his physical form rooted through the amplifier. Gradually, he felt his awareness extending, stretching across the dimensional barrier while his body remained in Bulma's lab. The sensation was disorienting at first, like looking through 2 sets of eyes simultaneously. Then his consciousness fully transferred to the other side, while maintaining a tether to his physical form. What he saw confirmed his worst fears. The research facility was indeed under assault from the Darkness Devil, tendrils of absolute void consuming everything they touched. But behind the obvious threat, Goku perceived something more disturbing. Energy patterns flowed through the portal, not randomly, but in a carefully orchestrated stream. And they weren't flowing equally in both directions. Something was being siphoned from his world to Mikima's, fundamental energy that maintained dimensional integrity. She's stealing the fabric of reality itself, Goku realized with horror. Not to balance worlds, but to reshape hers. Beyond this immediate deception, his heightened perceptions revealed something even more significant. Mikima herself radiated energy unlike any human or devil he'd encountered before, complex, layered, immensely powerful. She wasn't simply a devil hunter or government official. She was something else entirely. As this realization struck, Mikima's eyes met his projected form. A smile spread across her face, no longer bothering to maintain the perfect mask. "You see more clearly now," she observed. "Good. Understanding elevates sacrifice." "What are you?" Goku demanded, his projected voice echoing strangely. "I am the Control Devil," she replied simply. "Manifestation of humanity's fear of domination. And I have far greater ambitions than merely balancing dimensional scales." The truth crashed over Goku like a physical blow. Mikima wasn't fighting devils, she was one of them. Perhaps the most dangerous kind, hiding in plain sight, manipulating humans and devils alike toward her own ends. The Dragon Balls were never your real target, he realized. They were just bait to get me to open a pathway. They would have been a useful tool, Mikima acknowledged. But you're right. My true goal is the dimensional energy itself, the fundamental rules that separate realities. Behind her, the battle continued. Denji fought desperately against encroaching darkness, chainsaw engines roaring in defiance. Other devil hunters, Aki, Power, Kishibe, had joined the defense, but they were clearly losing ground. "You're sacrificing your own people," Goku accused. "Necessary collateral," Mikima replied without remorse. "Once I've absorbed sufficient dimensional energy, I can reshape reality according to a more efficient design." The full scope of her plan became clear. Mikima wasn't trying to defeat the primordials, she was using their convergence as cover for her own ascension. By harvesting energy from Goku's world, she sought to transcend the limitations of her own reality. "I've seen enough," Goku declared, beginning to withdraw his projected consciousness. But Mikima wasn't finished. With blinding speed, she reached toward his energetic form, fingers elongating unnaturally to pierce his projected chest. "Not yet," she said, voice distorting as her true nature became more apparent. "Your energy signature is the final component I require." Pain lanced through Goku despite his non-physical state. He could feel Mikima attempting to extract something fundamental from his essence, the unique adaptation that allowed him to traverse dimensions. He fought back, focusing his ki to repel her invasion. Their energies clashed violently, creating shockwaves that rippled through both dimensions. "You cannot resist forever," Mikima stated with absolute confidence. "The connection is established. The transfer has begun." Through their linked energies, Goku perceived fragments of her true plan, a restructuring of reality with herself as the central control mechanism. Not just her world, but all worlds, linked through the dimensional aperture she'd created. "This ends now," Goku declared, gathering his power for one massive surge. Before he could release it, however, an unexpected ally intervened. Chainsaw Man, seeing Mikima's attack on Goku's projected form, charged forward with engines roaring at maximum capacity. "Get away from him!" Denji shouted, chainsaws aiming directly for Mikima's back. She sensed the attack coming, of course. Without looking, she gestured dismissively, and Denji froze mid-charge, muscles straining against invisible restraints. "Loyalty is admirable but inconvenient," Mikima commented. "Wait your turn, Denji. I'll reshape you more efficiently once I've finished with our interdimensional guest." Her momentary division of attention gave Goku the opening he needed. He channeled energy through his projected form, not to attack Mikima directly, but to communicate with Denji. The chainsaws, he sent mentally, directly to Denji's consciousness. They can devour concepts. Things that shouldn't exist. Isn't that right? Understanding flashed in Denji's eyes. The chainsaw devil was unique. It didn't just kill devils, it consumed them completely, erasing them from existence. Even concepts could be devoured by those wearing blades. Like, perhaps, a dimensional portal that violated natural law. Denji struggled harder against Mikima's control, his determination creating small fractures in her hold. "Can't move," he grunted. "You don't need to," Goku replied mentally. "Just aim your intent. I'll provide the power." Understanding passed between them. As Goku gathered energy for one massive surge, Denji focused his consciousness on his true target, not Mikima, but the dimensional portal itself. "Now!" Goku shouted, releasing a focused blast of ki through his projected form. The energy struck Denji, momentarily freeing him from Mikima's control while simultaneously supercharging his chainsaw engines. With a roar that transcended dimensions, Chainsaw Man lunged, not at Mikima, but directly at the swirling aperture connecting worlds. No! Mikima's composure finally shattered as she realized their intent. She moved with impossible speed to intercept, but too late. Chainsaw Man's blades connected with the dimensional portal, engines screaming as they began to devour the very concept of the connection between worlds. The portal shuddered violently, energy patterns destabilizing as the Chainsaw Devil's unique ability tore into the fabric of the construct. Goku felt his projected consciousness being violently pulled back toward his physical body as the connection deteriorated. His last glimpse of the Chainsaw Man world was chaos, Mikima's face contorted with rage, Denji's chainsaws tearing through dimensional energy, darkness consuming the facility around them. Then he slammed back into his physical form with such force that Bulma's amplifier exploded in a shower of sparks. Everyone in the lab was thrown backward by the energetic backlash. "Goku!" Bulma shouted, rushing to where he had collapsed. "Are you alright?" He struggled to his feet, head pounding. "The portal collapsed completely," she confirmed. "Whatever you did over there, it severed the connection totally." Relief washed over him, quickly followed by concern. Denji, the others, they were still fighting when the link broke. "What happened? What did you see?" Vegeta demanded. Goku explained Mikima's true identity and plans, how she'd manipulated everyone, including him, to create a pathway for stealing fundamental dimensional energy. How she intended to reshape reality with herself as the control mechanism. "So this, control devil, was the true threat all along," Vegeta mused. "Clever strategy, hiding behind greater monsters. But now she's trapped in her own dimension," Bulma added. "The portal's completely destabilized. According to my readings, the dimensional barrier is actually stronger now than before, as if something reinforced it from the other side." The Chainsaw Devil, Goku realized. Denji didn't just destroy the portal, he devoured the concept of the connection itself. Erased it from possibility. It was a bittersweet victory. The immediate threat to both worlds had been neutralized, but at what cost to his friends in that other dimension? They were still facing primordial devils with no easy way to defeat them. And Goku had no way to help them anymore. The lab fell silent as everyone processed the implications of what had happened. Eventually, Bulma spoke what they were all thinking. Could they survive this? "Your friends over there." Goku stared at the smoking ruins of the amplifier, considering the question carefully. "Denji is incredibly resilient. Power is stronger than she appears. Aki and Kishibe are brilliant tacticians. If anyone could find a way." He trailed off, not wanting to make promises he couldn't guarantee. The Darkness Devil alone had nearly overwhelmed them previously. With multiple primordials converging. "They'll find a way," he said. Finally, with more confidence than he felt. They always do. Days passed with no further dimensional incidents. The strange shadow behavior ceased entirely, normal darkness behaving as it should. Goku's visions from the other world stopped as well, suggesting the connection had been completely severed. He tried to return to normal life, training, spending time with family, enjoying Chi-Chi's cooking. But thoughts of the Chainsaw Man world lingered. He found himself incorporating lessons from Kishibe into his training regimen, explaining devil hunting techniques to a bemused Gohan. "So they fight manifestations of human fear?" his son asked during one such session. "Exactly. And the more people fear something, the stronger its devil becomes." Goku demonstrated a particular countering technique. Against opponents like that, raw power matters less than understanding the concept you're fighting. Fascinating, Gohan mused. A world where ideas have physical form. I wonder how their physics work. Goku smiled at his son's scholarly interest. Some things remained constant across dimensions. A week after the portal incident, Bulma called with unexpected news. "I've been analyzing residual energy patterns from the dimensional event," she explained when Goku arrived at her lab. "And I found something interesting. Come see." She led him to a monitoring station displaying waveform patterns. "This is the dimensional resonance frequency we recorded during your connection with the other world," she explained, pointing to a jagged pattern. "Completely flatlined after the portal collapsed, as expected." "But?" Goku prompted, sensing she wasn't finished. "But 3 days ago, this happened." She switched to a different display showing a tiny, almost imperceptible blip in the otherwise flat reading. "And again yesterday, stronger." Goku studied the readings with growing excitement. "The connection isn't completely gone." "Not gone, just transformed," Bulma confirmed. "Whatever Denji did with those chainsaws, he didn't erase all possibility of connection. He just changed its nature." "Can we communicate through it? Re-establish contact?" Bulma shook her head. "Not with technology, no. The resonance is too faint, too irregular." "But..." She hesitated. "You might be able to, under specific conditions." "What conditions?" "Your unique energy signature still contains elements adapted to their dimensional frequency. During deep meditation or dreams, when consciousness naturally explores beyond physical limitations." "I might be able to reach across," Goku finished, understanding dawning. "Like how I sometimes visit King Kai's realm in spirit form." "Exactly. It would be tenuous, temporary, but potentially possible." That night, Goku sat cross-legged on the roof of his home, starlight bathing him in gentle illumination. He centered himself, focusing on the dimensional resonance that still lingered within his adapted energy signature. For hours, nothing happened except the normal tranquility of deep meditation. Then, as midnight approached, he felt it, a subtle shift in perception, a thinning of the veil between worlds. Goku focused intently on this sensation, directing his consciousness toward it. Gradually, images began forming, not visions this time, but a direct perceptual link, however tenuous. He found himself floating above Tokyo, or what remained of it. Much of the city lay in ruins, evidence of catastrophic battles. Yet amidst the destruction, signs of rebuilding had already begun. People worked together, clearing rubble, constructing temporary shelters. Goku directed his awareness toward familiar energy signatures, searching for his friends. He found them at the former public safety headquarters, partially collapsed but still functioning as an operations center. Denji sat on the roof, staring at the night sky with uncharacteristic contemplation. His human form showed evidence of recent battles, new scars, a slightly different posture suggesting healed injuries. "Denji," Goku projected, unsure if communication was possible through this tenuous connection. The young man startled, looking around. "Who's there?" "It's Goku. Can you hear me?" Denji's eyes widened. "Spaceman. Is that really you?" He laughed incredulously. Holy shit. Are you a ghost now? Not exactly, Goku explained, relieved the connection worked. More like, projecting my consciousness across dimensions. It's temporary, and I can't physically interact, but I can see and hear you. That's awesome. Wait till I tell Power. She's gonna freak out. Denji jumped to his feet excitedly. We thought you were gone for good after I chomped that portal thing. What happened after the connection broke? The primordials. Denji's expression grew more serious. It was bad. Really bad. We lost a lot of people. But when I ate the portal, something weird happened. The Darkness Devil and others, they started retreating. Like they were more interested in the dimensional doorway than anything else. They were, Goku realized. Makima was using their convergence as cover for her real plan. Once the portal was gone, their primary target disappeared. Makes sense. Anyway, we managed to drive them back to hell, temporary victory, but we'll take what we can get. Denji stretched, wincing slightly at what must be partially healed injuries. Tokyo's a mess, but we're rebuilding. Humans are pretty good at that. And Makima? Denji's expression darkened. Gone. After you disappeared and her plan failed, she just vanished. Kishibe thinks she's regrouping, planning something new. But for now, we've got breathing room. The others? Aki, Power, Kishibe. All alive, somehow. Denji grinned. Power won't shut up about how she vanquished darkness with blood superiority or whatever. Aki's actually smiled twice this week, I've been counting. Kishibe's drinking slightly less, which is progress. Relief washed over Goku. Against all odds, they'd survived. Your chainsaw ability, he said. It saved both our worlds. Denji rubbed his chest where the starter cord emerged. Yeah, well. Eating concepts is kind of my thing, apparently. Though that dimensional portal gave me weird indigestion for days. They both laughed, the sound bridging dimensions. I can't maintain this connection for long, Goku admitted, already feeling the strain. But I wanted to know you all made it. We're tough to kill, Denji replied with characteristic bravado. Then, more seriously, thanks for coming back, even like this. It means something. I consider you friends, Goku said simply. Across dimensions or not. Denji smiled, a genuine expression rarely seen on his usually guarded face. Same here, spaceman. Same here. The connection began fading, Goku's projection growing transparent. I'll try to reach out again when I can, he promised. Next time, bring food. Denji called as the link faded. Interdimensional takeout. Goku's consciousness returned to his body on the rooftop, stars still shining peacefully above. He smiled, heart lighter knowing his friends had survived against impossible odds. Some bonds, it seemed, transcended even dimensional barriers. And while the worlds remained properly separated, as they should be, the connection forged through shared battles and unlikely friendships persisted in its own way. In the days that followed, Goku occasionally felt echoes of that other world, brief impressions during meditation or dreams. Sometimes laughter, usually Powers, sometimes the sound of chainsaw engines, sometimes quiet conversations among survivors rebuilding their world. And sometimes, in the shadows at twilight, he thought he glimpsed familiar silhouettes, a reminder that while realities remained distinct, experience had forever connected them. Different worlds, different rules, but the same fundamental truth: darkness always receded before those willing to stand against it, whether with godlike powers or chainsaw hearts. The adventure had changed him, not just his energy signature, but his understanding of strength itself. Power wasn't merely about force or technique, it came in many forms. Denji's stubborn resilience. Power's chaotic enthusiasm. Aki's stoic determination. Kishibe's hard-earned wisdom. These lessons, Goku carried forward, across dimensions, beyond time, into whatever battles awaited. And somewhere in another Tokyo, chainsaw engines roared against the darkness. The end. Thank you for watching this video. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel and like this video.